to be live from the dungeon here with cameras that don't work. We got dudes with wrenches over there. Mongrel's garage down there. Who knows who might else show up? Who knows what might start working? Who knows what's going to not work next?
You never know.
It's just been one of those weeks. Hey, somebody's got his notifications turned on. Do you have your notifications turned on? Just saying. I can tell you no one does. I looked at that. Analytic the other day. It's not good.
I don't even look at that. I don't think I know how. So,
Layton, what is up, brother? How you doing? See, that's a guy I need to do some live streaming on a random whenever he's got time and do some welding and have him tell me how terrible I am. Because when you tell me I'm bad at welding, it's just dudes with wrenches doing it, and I can't tell if you know what the hell you're talking about. So it could be one way or the other. When Layton tells me I'm doing a terrible job, I go, oh, he's probably right.
I am not a professional welder, but I'm professional welding adjacent, so I can tell you when you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. You may not be able to do it right, but you know I'm not doing it right, which is all true statements.
And I seem to remember a quote from someone, something along the lines of, "I'm not a great welder. Things got melted," or something.
I love it when he says, it's strong because you put all the wire in it.
Yeah.
That's the one I like.
Yeah, that is pretty much how I sum up the welds I've seen you do.
Yeah.
More wire makes it stronger, I swear to gosh.
And as the saying goes, a grinder and paint make me the welder I ain't.
Well, and when it comes to MIG,
yeah,
I'm not worried about any of the things that I MIG falling apart.
Here's the thing to remember.
It's a whole different.
If you actually break down how a vehicle is built, it's a lot of spot welds. So realistically, at the end of the day, if I seam weld something, even if every other inch is not very great, it's still more weld than a spot weld.
Facts.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me
Mind you, a lot of stuff is bonded nowadays. You don't even
Yeah, I've actually taken some of that stuff apart too, where it's just like, wow, this is really
You ever
good
seen
glue.
some people do repairs to bonded stuff that they end up, having to weld back in, and then they catch the bonded material on fire? That Toyotas, Tacomas, I think, are notorious for that if you're not careful.
Yeah.
So they put a box side on my 2015 Silverado, and it was crunched pretty bad. And they didn't do the inner; they just did the outer. So they just popped it all off, unseamed it, and then they just stuck the new one on. And I went through and looked at it. And there's a hand spot welds that go on there, and then they seam it with some glue stuff. They did not put any of those spot welds back on. It is 100% glued on. And I'm like, huh. So when that whole box side just bloops off the side of the truck, it'll be fine. And if you look down the side of the truck, the whole side of the truck is in about this far from that box side back.
Oh, really?
Because they just stuck it to the caved in inner, and they didn't replace the inner. So they didn't bang the inner back out. They just stuck a new outside on it.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, this was $4,000 well paid.
Ooh.
Oof. That's crazy.
That does sound cool. I'm getting to the point where I need to start welding on, well, you guys can't see it, but welding on the old frame over there. We got some parts. I ordered some components to
some gussets.
Some gusseting and some double shear. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with a single shear ideal. Basically, you put a bolt through your one hook point and one bolt in, and then your A-arm, spins on this bolt. Mm-hmm. And then the whole thing can do this realistically because it's single shear.
Yeah.
And they did that everywhere.
Oh, nice.
There's this guy. Gary, what do you got there? Oh, it's just water. I thought it was something good. That's Gary.
Hi, Gary.
The shot.
Gary's now on the internet.
Gary's all over the internet. Have you seen all of the stuff that looks like a small child riding a four-wheeler?
I did see that, actually.
Yeah, small child. Yeah, not 6'4", 300 pounds. If you're like not that around here, you're just a small child.
You know what? You just reminded me of something. Is when I was at the No Name Nationals and the monkey bikes, and that was great because Big Block got on that that little monkey bike, and he looked like Donkey Kong Jr. from Mario Kart or something, right? And I was thinking it'd be great to see you on one. I think that'd be fantastic.
If I can actually fit into some of these little go-kart deals, they're pretty fun, but I have a hard time actually, because I'm so long and such a big frame, I have a bit of an issue. And I'm not flexible enough to put my knees like in my chin. And that's the other
Well, you don't have to on that thing, that little Coleman bike.
Yeah, I'm not that flexible, man.
We put some hopped up 200cc things on a go-kart one time and put adults on them. It was fun looking.
Yeah. So it's funny because I actually just saw a Miller spot welder yesterday and was looking at that going, what would I use a Miller spot? Like you hit the thing and the two arms descend.
Why do you need a Miller one? I mean, at the end of the day, that's one of those, you could buy the Harbor Freight one and probably be just fine.
No, I saw it at a place that I could probably acquire it. Along with a lot of other things. But the problem is I have no space for any of those things.
Yes.
Where do you put a mill out of a frigate? When you're
that guy.
Frigate?
Hey. Look at this guy. Of course, he's got a little studio all set up there.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
So Midnight here joined the internet realm at home with old Starnet link or Force.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay, nice. Nice.
Yeah, I finally have some internet, which is it's weird. It's weird being part of the world again.
It's funny because I have all that nice internet over there, and then I come over here to the dungeon to do it because
to work on homeless person internet.
Yeah, that is a true thing.
Is there no way to run a cable from the house to the dungeon?
No. So I could easily just take the whole internet with me and go across the street. It'd be really easy. But then I have to move what I've got to say is very fragile internet.
Right. Yes.
Because I've had reliability issues with the satellite already once.
Because it's dependent on how it's pointed, correct?
No, the cable or the dish fried in a way that one of the two of them either fried the other or just one of them was fried. It was hard to, without throwing more parts at it, to science out which one was actually broken. But after almost 30 days, they got me on 30 days exactly of the problem happening. They finally got me a replacement set.
Nice.
And then that night I was in the dark putting a new Starlink setup on the roof. And I left the base. I had the base screwed down on top of my roof. And it's one of those, it's a round hole with a groove on one side. It clicks down in. There's only one way it goes, you know? So I was like, I'll leave that up there. And when I took it down to send the rest back, because why would I need to change that? The new one comes in, and what I didn't think about is the mast that goes onto the Starlink dish itself. They mounted that a different direction. So when I put it down and clicked it in, it was 180 out. And I was like, so now it's dark. And I'm like, I have to unscrew the whole base and spin it. You've got to be, I was like, I didn't think this was going to be the thing, but that's what it was. How do you have yours installed, Jim? Is yours just a regular mount?
I just put it on my back porch. Set it there, and it tilts back and forth on its own when it needs to, and does its thing.
You got pretty good view, because I have a bit of a view issue.
That's the best place I have a view, unless I put it on the roof. And I wanted internet so bad, I wasn't ready to go up on the roof. I was just like, I'm going to stick it right here on the deck and have internet. So maybe later on I'll do something permanent with it, but right now it's just sitting on the deck. It's great.
Yeah, I do like the portability. I just worry about, because when I got my first kit, I put it up on the roof just like you said. I went up right on the roof because it was the only spot I had because I'm limited on space. But I did that night. It was up there. And then I was like, okay, I actually have to route this thing, and brought it down underneath the house, up through the floor, up by the hutch, center of the house, did all the things right you're supposed to do. And then about a month and a half, 2 months after I did that and got it all installed, the thing just died. It literally just one day said it couldn't connect to the tower, or to the satellite, is what it was saying. Not the satellite, it's the dish. The dish couldn't connect to the mesh. And then from there, I just never did anything. Dudes and I did a little bit of troubleshooting and research into old Starlink net. And once we got a new one, I just put it out. I keep my dish and the mesh, or whatever, the router, is all outside for me. Keep it out on the deck.
Interesting.
It travels pretty far.
Is the routers like weatherproof then?
Yes, I will say that. The cable and everything. I don't know about you, Jim, but it's very robust and outdoor, rated.
Yeah. It's a really good setup. I mean, I don't feel like I was ripped off like my HughesNet, which was a total rip off. But
well, HughesNet was dead technology 15 years ago, so
it is so awful. I just can't say just how awful HughesNet is. There is no worse internet product on the planet than HughesNet.
Yeah, I remember installing HughesNet about 15 years ago, and even telling people then, if you don't have to have it, don't have it.
Yeah, I wish that I didn't have it, but yeah, well, that's all behind me now. I've got Starlink, so all's right in the world. I watched Netflix again after almost 2 years of not watching Netflix, so that was nice the other night.
Oh, I didn't think about that. So you couldn't. So we were running Netflix and all that type of stuff on phone hotspot before we got Starlink at the house. That's how we were doing that.
Yeah, but my cell service is not that great out here either. I have to have a repeater indoors, and so watching any sort of streaming is kind of flaky. It works, but it's just not enjoyable when it has to buffer all the time.
Yes.
So I just didn't bother. I hadn't logged into Netflix in such a long time. They were like, "Who are you? Are you sure you're supposed to be using this account?"
You were paying for this. We just figured you weren't going to use it.
Yeah.
Leighton, if you're still here, I bought the welding metals kit online for aluminum, and it was great for that. I have so much steel laying around. I've just been playing with steel lately. Aluminum's a whole different monster. It's one of those, when I need to actually do some aluminum stuff, I'll figure it out again-ish. But like any of it, if you're not doing it all the time, TIG's it's a rough one. I don't know if you guys. I know, dude says he hasn't really TIGged before. I know you've done some stuff with it, but how about you?
I would like to acquire a TIG to do exactly what you're talking about, but the problem is I just wouldn't use it, so hence why I haven't bought one.
I've got some buddies with a TIG if I want to go practice, so I would do that. But it's been a long time since I've done any. I think it was college last time I did any TIG welding. And I did okay in college, but to pick it up now, I'm sure it wouldn't be pretty, because my MIG's not pretty.
Yeah, I guess my MIG welding's terrible too. I wouldn't even know what to do with a TIG. It'd sit in the corner.
I don't know. The couple of times I've had aluminum things that I'm just like, oh. And I had a drill bit the other day, and that I wanted to make bigger, and it was easily done with. I was like, oh, that justifies that really expensive toy that I don't play with.
But you could have totally done that with a MIG welder. So
I couldn't. No, not the way I done that one, because I totally cheated and undercut together, so I didn't have to grind it down. No grinding required. That was just it was just big flex.
I welded a gear back on the end of a pretty long shaft with a MIG welder not that long ago, and then chucked it in a drill and then ground it with a grinder.
Nice. So let's talk about let's talk about some of the bad ideas we all have right now. Who wants to go first?
Like our current bad idea?
Bad ideas,
you're not going to say. You're going to need to be a lot more specific if you're talking bad ideas. It's true.
someone was showing me some pictures and mentioned poor life decision perhaps, and I thought it's a good project to work on, but I was just got me kind of thinking, what is everyone working on? Like, I know you're working on that frame.
Yeah,
what are you doing with it?
That's my poor decision. So currently my frame is, we've got some gusseting kits for, like we were talking about.
Nice.
And I need to grind off things and start attaching things. So I have to take this perfectly good frame and start messing with it. And really go back and forth on, are we going to TIG weld everything and make that look awesome as I go, for no real reason but other than to practice the craft, I guess. Or do I just MIG it, which I know I can do, and put a bunch of wire in it so it'll be strong, like dudes will say. I don't know. So that's where we're at. We're making decisions on a piece of metal that, in the end, best case scenario, I make a second rig out of. Worst case scenario, it's just the frame that I replace the frame I'm going to destroy on the rig I'm destroying. Yeah, that's
right. Now, do you have like extra suspension and powertrain and all that, or is
No, I have nothing.
So you'd
have
have to get everything from scratch again. Yeah, okay.
Well, so I've actually been looking in the totaled market through Copart and whatnot for the guys that sailboat these things down hills and just crunch them up, and seeing what I could get a low mileage, because I just need the pieces and I can bolt them back together, maybe. Maybe. But that's
needs one with a really bent frame, so then he can put his not so bent frame with all the pieces that come off of the bent frame.
Well, I've also seen a guy that took a little one and made a big one out of it. Like, he had a 2-seater and he wanted a 4-seater, so he bought the frame, and they did pretty much exactly what we're going to do to this frame, just made it bulletproof. And then, like, there's a whole forum on it where he shows how he extended the wiring harnesses and everything to make it a 4-seater. I don't know if I'm gonna go that way, but if you can get the right rig for the right price, I've got a 4-seater frame here that I'm gonna bulletproof. Someday.
Interesting. So you're having quite a bit of fun with that stuff, anyways. Like, that kind of has taken over your channel.
Well, it's the thing out the front back side door to go play with, and so that's pretty awesome at the moment.
I think that's more due to current living conditions.
Well, yeah, the lack of shop to run. Well, I don't know. I couldn't tell you that if I had a shop all set up, that I would be dumping money into a El Camino or a Subaru that has an LS swap in it, or a ramp truck, because those are the other projects that are
right.
The Z works.
And that's kind of what I'm hinting at, and it's a good side topic to get onto. Is your channel has kind of morphed over time. How has that affected you? Because you started with the C and stuff like that, and then went to your bulldozing and you're cutting down trees and stuff like that, and now you're onto the side-by-side.
Yep, and pretty heavily into the side-by-side at this point. Like, we're not coming off of side-by-side content anytime soon.
Right. So that content's doing well for you.
Well, it's not about the content and how it's doing for me. It never has been. It's always been about what I'm doing is what we, the community, everyone here, everyone in the comments, thank you, who I'm totally not paying attention to right now because I'm talking. See, now you're on the panel with us, Jim, so you can be not paid attention to in front of us instead of...
Well, yeah. I never pay attention to what's going on in the chat anyways. I'm always listening to you guys. And
I keep an eye on it from time to time. Every now and then something pops up, and try to be interactive with it.
I can tell you the one thing I have noticed is when YouTube finally finds the spot they want to show you, and for me it's little dozer content like you talked about. I have it very hard to not stay with that because they want to show everything I do to little dozer people, and little dozer people don't like everything I do. And so I didn't go, hey, I'm going to put dozer stuff up and I'm going to be a dozer person. It's what we were doing at the time.
Right.
And it's still to this day, if anything, I have a little chopping wood thing we put in and it goes wild. So it's one of those, there's definitely a difference between, and sometimes you'll see some other people that talk about this, what you do on YouTube and what YouTube kind of wants you to do. I think Finnegan talked about it a little bit on that one dude's
Pontiac Power Hour.
Yes, that's where he was talking about that kind of a little bit, and I guess that comes into where YouTube makes that decision for you, because I didn't decide it was going to be little dozer stuff, but I like doing the side-by-side stuff, and we're going to keep doing it as long as I'm able to. And if everyone keeps coming along for the ride, hell yeah, you know.
Well, that's.
But how about?
I wasn't planning on having an Elvis channel, and now I do.
that video's still killing it, huh?
Yeah, still. Yeah.
Now, are you able to feed other things in to go with that fire, or you know?
I did try a little YouTube science the other day, and posted a couple of my normal shorts. Only I used some Elvis music just to see if they got more views with the Elvis music, and they did. So it turns out that Elvis behind my videos works.
Well, so that's an interesting bit of analytics that I think are going to come too, is now that music is into everything. I'm getting a sign from dudes here.
Is that because current events? I mean, didn't Elvis Presley's daughter die or something recently?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, no, but my Elvis thing went crazy initially when the Elvis documentary or Elvis movie that came out this past summer, when it came out on the streaming services, that's when that particular Elvis video went nuts. And then
you're following a trend you didn't even know you were following?
Correct.
There you go.
Correct. Because interestingly enough, I posted that video originally about the same time that movie came out this past summer.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't hit. It didn't do anything until it started streaming on Netflix. So then it decided it was going to go crazy. I mean, let me look. I'll tell you what the analytics are on it. So I've gotten. I have 4,400 subscribers, and 1,700 of them are from Elvis. So
there you go.
Well, that I found. Here's the trick with that. So I can say the same thing about my little dozer video and my extendo video, but those are both my two videos that are my highest viewed videos. So it's really, it goes back to, is it Elvis, or is it just because they showed that video to a bunch of people? Because dudes and I have been going back.
We're not going to talk about how many subs I have off a single video.
Yeah.
well, no. I mean, if we want to show behind it, I'll tell you for what I have for I think it's like 0.1% is what I consider to be good. So I think, what is it? I have 1.2 million on one video, and so I end up with 1.2 thousand subscribers off of one video, and I think that it's solely on numbers. If they show your stuff to enough people, there's a certain percentage of being on, and it could be, and we've sussed this because my percentage of subscriber to view is not the same as old dudes with wrenches here, and I think that because there is a bit of somebody's charm that goes into making people subscribe, and so I think the more likable you are, the more watchable your content is, obviously is going to give you a higher return in that number. But I found mine has been about 0.1%.
Okay, so you're saying I'm not very well liked. Okay, got it.
Well, no, I'm saying, no, this is where you got to break it down to, is YouTube showing you to anyone? Because dudes is getting put in front of, how many millions of impressions are you getting?
A lot.
So we looked at it. He's getting millions of impressions in a month period, and I'm getting thousands of impressions. And then the numbers kind of scale to that fact, essentially.
Well, the interesting thing is, if you look at Dudes and I, we started our channel on almost the same day.
Okay.
I think there's 3 days between us, something like that. So it shows you the contrast between how it can go and how it usually goes, right?
Well, I don't know, because how it usually went was how dudes went for the longest time until shorts came along.
That's what was happening is we were pretty much even for a very long time, like just doing a little bit of this, then all of a sudden dudes just gone. And And it was right when you started
Chad,
doing
what's up,
shorts
brother?
content.
So I
Basically.
think the reason, I mean, realistically, shorts are their own thing, man. We talked heavily about this. I mean, you can go back and look at the lives where we all sat down on here and said, I still to this day hate shorts. I do not like shorts, and
I'm not a huge fan either.
well, I don't like them for the fact that I've seen, and we've talked about this a few times too, but it's market share essentially. It's taken views away from long format video, and you can say, well, this is pitchfork.
I don't think it takes views away.
to
I think what it does is it hurts the video because the viewers that are watching it for less time.
So you're saying there's less watch hours out of the views?
It's less watch time, and then the little analytics motor that YouTube runs off of goes, people didn't watch that very well, so it did not do well, and it stops pushing the video.
I can see that because
maybe.
I think you're dragging the wrong audience into the wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's just an eyes-on platform. Say what?
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're definitely different audiences for me.
that's
people
the
watch
thing.
my
right
short, they don't watch my my long form stuff.
And we've all seen that across the board, and I think that was ingrained by YouTube in the beginning because YouTube didn't make it easy for you to watch both contents, and it's only been a recent
Still don't.
that they make it. It's at least possible now. It was impossible before. You know what I mean? You couldn't just click through. Anyhow, crap! I lost my train of thought where I was going with
That's
this.
okay. What Dudes was talking about the other night on Irish is that exactly what you just said is they don't translate over the short form viewers. They got the attention span of, well, we'll just say it's small. And
Yeah, well, that was like mine. I just came back to it, and it's time on target, time on the site. When they went to shorts, they didn't get a insurge of a bunch of more people on YouTube as a whole. It did go up. We did take away from, big bad TikTok over there and bring some people over, but it didn't go up the amount that we had people going to shorts. So those views that are on the shorts are now not on the long form that they were before. There are some guys that were not on the site at all and came over, you know what I'm saying? But in order for people to be watching shorts, that means they're not watching long form content. And I'm not saying it's the reason, but it is a contributing factor. I don't know very many people that will say that their numbers are up on long format stuff since shorts came out. In the lower segment community, I think that we hang out. Leighton, how's it going, man?
What's going on?
Oh,
holy, calm down, buddy. Easy, take it down. Like,
Is it loud?
you've been drinking some Jolt Pepsi or some Jolt, or what's going on, man? Holy jumpins.
man.
So back to poor life decisions. So Midnight, what's your recent acquiring project or current project you're currently working on?
Oh man, I'm working on a ton of them all at once because that's what I do, and I get nothing
That's
done.
a horrible idea, but hey, whatever.
It's a terrible idea to work on them all at once. So I've got, let's see, I just bought a bunch of exhaust stuff for the 65 C10, the LS swap 65 C10. So I got to get the exhaust work on that. I also, ironically, got a bunch of exhaust stuff for the LS swap 79 Camaro. So I've got to work on that as well. And then I decided now would be a great time to just go ahead and start working on the 71 El Camino that's also getting LS. I don't know why I started working on that when I have so many other things going on. Then I bought that 48 Cadillac, which that one really doesn't need a lot, so that's not a whole lot.
So it actually moved up the list in things to do because it needs less than the rest?
It needs less than the rest, so it's pushed back in the corner.
Oh, okay.
Because it doesn't need anything.
Does that need an LS swap too?
No, that's got a 500 cubic inch caddy in it.
I don't need an LS then.
No, it doesn't need an LS. It would make it more drivable, but
yes.
Then the 67 Fury, all that needs is a master cylinder, and probably a wheel cylinder. One of the wheels is locked up. Well, semi-locked up. And that car's probably out of here because there won't be anything left for me to do to it. So it'll be out the door. I mean, other than if I wanted to do a full restoration on it, which I don't because I don't do that. Yeah, that's kind of what's. Oh, and then I also have the doors taken apart on the 51 Dodge for new door poppers because it's got shaved door handles. Nice. And the guy left it a car outside, and the poppers are at the bottom of the doors, and there's no drains at the bottom of the doors, so the water filled up at the bottom inside the door and soaked the poppers, and they're just just a ball of rust.
I think that comes into like we build cars, but we don't remember you got to leave them outside occasionally.
Yeah, so I've already put the new solenoids in, but it fried the controller for it, the wire for the controller. So I got to replace that still. And then I did get the electric windows working. Turns out those Chinese switches. I don't know if any of you saw the video where I completely smoked a switch. But turns out the switches from China, they don't actually use a standard, your standard wiring colors like black being negative and red being positive. Yeah, I found that out the hard way, and just completely smoked one. But yeah, so I got that sorted out though.
I thought that short was good though, letting the smoke out. I mean, come on.
He didn't do very well, but.
Well, I think that's one of those ones where you just keep trying that one until that's not what I want to do. Until it does hit, because I think that one has the potential done. Maybe tweak it around a couple of different ways and keep sending it into the ether. Because sometimes you're just ahead of your time, and they weren't.
Yeah, I think I think I just kind of need to rework what I say before I show it smoking. I mean, I could just show it smoking, but that's only. That's only like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So you got.
Here's the new magic: you show it smoking, and then you show yourself beside it going.
Yeah, and you keep it short. Keeping. I don't do anything that's over 15.
I hear that works.
Anymore. Yeah,
reaction video.
Maybe I'll try that. I mean,
Oh man,
it's what the best do.
Dancing, how are you doing? Yeah, all right, now. No offense to short attention spans. I got to do some cleanup here in the chat and say hi to some people. And we don't judge short attention spans. I love all the short viewers. Just go watch more long format, please. Thank you. Dancing, how are you doing tonight?
What were you saying,
Brandon? Oh, did I break up? What? Huh?
What?
Huh?
What?
Here we go. What? 12-volt welding. Hey. You can weld it's a fusible length. I think that's what I said when you sent me that.
I watched MacGyver do that with a pair of jumper cables and a quarter.
Man, why not?
All right, we're caught up. I'm sorry. We were way behind. My mom came in and said hi, so I had to go say hi to her.
I took a home stereo, like a large powered sub that had an amp built in the back of it one time. And we took that amp apart and we wired it to 2 JL 10-inch subwoofers in a bandpass box that we built into the bottom of a hideaway couch and removed the actual bed. So then when you sat on the couch, it was like super bass. And the speaker you didn't know where it was coming from. It was just coming out of the couch. And it had a fuse in it that would get really hot because we just kind of turned all the way up. And after a while, it would just poop. And after I burned out a few of those, and we had some people over, and I was like, well, I can't just not have this working. I just grabbed a bunch of wire and wired it back and forth and just kept regulating how much was in there by how blowy it got. Now, mind you, this is inside of a couch. So
set your guests on fire.
Yeah, when the couch started to smoke a little bit, that's when we're like, all right, we got to shut this down.
We've partied too hard. Okay.
That reminds me of when my kids were younger and I had one of those big wheels or, the electric
Power wheel.
electric cars.
Oh,
I did that too.
I decided I got tired of changing the battery all the time.
Yeah.
So I hooked up a 12-volt car battery to it.
Yeah, that works.
It works great. But the thing is they can go any place and every place with that because of the amperage in it. And it's kind of, yeah. But after a while, when I seen my kids evacuating, the car said it's on fire.
Yep, those motors, they don't cool very well. So when you put too much power to them, they get hot. I did that to a couple Power Wheels for my kids, and we used 18-volt batteries off of drills.
Yeah.
Oh, you did that way?
Oh, you hopped them up then. More performance.
We went to Home Depot and got the batteries for like lights or what, those. They're still small and they're rechargeable, and you can. Whoa. Oh, okay. Well, that's what that was. Someone has a Raptor.
Yep.
Sorry, my kids.
No, I wouldn't. No, that was a Velociraptor, and that's how I'll tell that story from now on. But yeah, you do the nice thing about those little batteries for like the backup lights and stuff in like hallways or whatnot is they're small enough to not this was
burn
before.
It to the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I killed a couple of those motors just with too much amperage and volts.
Yeah,
easy to get going.
I was impressed because they were driving that thing around for like 2-3 hours before it finally gave up.
We had a little Volkswagen Bug, and when you get on the concrete sidewalk, it would just spin the tires so hard the thing wouldn't move.
Yeah.
So we actually went and got some self-tapping screws and just drilled them in there to make it like spiked, and then it was tearing up the sidewalk.
Nice. My buddy did something similar with his kid's fire truck. I think he went and got the bigger battery. I think it was more than 18 volts.
Yeah.
And that thing would just light the tires up and just do a burnout all the way down the street.
They actually sell a kit for some of the bigger motors to actually, it puts the little block in there and you just click your Milwaukee DeWalt, and then it actually creates a system so it regulates voltage, and then it actually has a motor cooler piece you can put on there with a fan. And
okay, cool.
Some of the people, with the being able to print parts that you could just think of, people were doing that for these. It's pretty cool. My one buddy had a skid steer that was one of them, and so that was wild because it was a skid steer, so you could just on the pavement get going and just lock it. It would just do flat spins down the road.
Seems like a good kid's toy.
Yeah, especially once he hopped it up with those batteries, it was completely out of control. They had to put traction aiding devices on the wheels to make it do anything because it would just blow the wheels off.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can see that. Now you're giving me ideas for big boy ideas. Electric skid steer, you say?
Ooh, yeah. The problem with any of those is going to be, the instant power is awesome, but like you said, you run the motors out and then you kill the batteries pretty quick.
Yeah.
I was trying to acquire a motor they were pulling out of a 4,000-pound elevator that seemed pretty awesome. And they had a big AC to DC converter for it and everything. Yep. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool.
How does one just inquire about getting
funny thing about that is you run into guys that do scrap, and you have to pay people to remove these size motors, even though they're worth a bunch of money because whatever. But elevators run by these really cool rules where you can't reuse anything in an elevator. And elevators have X amount of hours that they can run, and then they're done. So now you have this motor that nothing's wrong with it.
The United States have those rules.
So now you have two elevators that you come across that you watch people rebuilding them, and you're like, what are you doing with those big giant motors? Well, we just got to scrap them, and we got to pay a guy to come get it. So if you want to take it, and it's like, probably shouldn't.
How big is that motor?
That motor weighed 680 pounds. Oof. So
that's not terrible.
No,
what are you gonna do with it?
Well, my thought was just like, it's a motor, it's a ton of horsepower. If I could make some way to where I could get power into the thing, like maybe stuff it in a Fiero.
Oh my god! And you were talking about bad ideas and what we're currently working on. Oh my lord, this is good. I like this.
Yeah.
Well, you say it's not that bad for weight, but that's still more weight than a small block Chevy.
Oh yeah.
Well,
It's-
600 pounds, but what's the horsepower torque rating or whatever on a motor?
Torque was
that?
to the roof. The horsepower wasn't all that much, but I don't know what that equates to because all electric motors are is torque. I mean,
Yeah,
they have a horsepower rating, but it's kind of
I don't know how that comes. Yeah, I don't know how they make that equation
work.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it has something to do with the gearing as well, right?
Yeah.
So
to load,
Yeah.
It would be interesting in the back of a Fiero, though.
You didn't miss anything good, trust me, Fox. It's just nothing bad. You're good. We appreciate you. Easier.
Yeah, I think it says right here it's average 50 horsepower for 4,000 pounds. So it's a 50 horsepower electric motor that weighs 600 pounds.
Is that enough to do anything with?
But like you said, the torque on that thing must be massive.
So if you got a ton of torque on that, it doesn't really matter how much horsepower because it's just throw the car anyhow.
Yeah, it's just gonna break everything. So
yeah, because I think that's gonna be your deal. If you wanted your burnout car, there you go. Because those tires gonna
your wheeling machine.
That would it'd lift the front end pretty easily.
Oh yeah, you get the right traction on that, and all that weight in the back. I'm
gonna say it's gonna end up like the mystery, or what was it was a Fiero. What was it? The wheeling machine
too.
Yeah, at
they stuck a big blown small block in the back of it, and it came up over the lip and whoop, right on the lid. I just watched their video, and they tore apart that Godzilla motor to figure out what was wrong with it.
Oh, did they? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Catastrophic?
No, they're actually they were taking it to get it bored, and they were going to have it back together pretty quick. They said, but it ate a main bearing.
Oh, okay. Oh,
like
really?
Ate it. It was gone.
But that's why. Okay.
They said it's a common issue with those.
Okay, I get that. Why is that? It's not a common issue with LS motors.
And they made that statement too. Like they said, with the amount of power they were putting through it, they would have broke a wrist pin before they would have eaten a main bearing. So they said it's an either or.
True, they're not wrong. That's very true because that's what I snapped. I stretched.
And they said the same thing on the Coyote motor. They're like, unless you change out the bearings to a better bearing, the bearings are too soft in factory format.
Yeah, they were throwing a shit ton of boost at that poor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
I am totally down for that motor to be the next motor that populates junkyards, and I don't care if it's a Ford motor that's the next motor that goes in my shitbox Japanese car.
I think they're heavy though.
Well, yeah, but you got to think we're going to be putting him in what's the thing, the early 2000s or 2010s cars that they'll be going into that'll be everywhere and cheap. What's the next thing? What's the next 350Z stuffed with a freaking V8 in it? You know what I mean? Or the Sylvia, or what's the next thing for that?
I don't know because that was never really my thing. Those cars. And what I have seen is like the stuff like the Mustangs. They're the only ones that really get cheap because the Camaros and the Challengers, they stay expensive.
Well, all these cars are gonna start ending up in junkyards and being $500 for the shell or something at some point.
Yeah, but I don't see a lot of Camaros and Challengers end up in like people want huge money for those cars still. You go look at 2009 even.
Copart and YouTube has also changed the community on that too. There's a lot of cars that get saved that would have never gotten saved.
Well, exactly. But then, the
save everything.
But a 2009 Mustang, they're still relatively inexpensive.
I just totally brought something home that shouldn't have been saved.
That's okay. So we're back on our poor decisions.
If we're gonna spend a whole episode on poor decisions, we might as well just put the freaking solo layout up and be like, tell us, dudes.
No.
He says no. Get that out.
Get that out of here.
Who's that guy? You should be able to share screen.
It's not letting me. Like, for whatever reason, it doesn't want to let me share the Discord.
Oh, no, you can't share Discord. Discord won't let you do that, I don't think.
Yeah, Discord's being dumb. 1 second.
Well, yeah, no, Discord has a...
Stand by.
streaming thing to where it protects people that are in there type deal, so it won't let you do it.
I can fix it. Don't worry.
Oh, you're gonna bypass it?
I fix. I go past.
Do we just hack Discord real quick here? Don't
just
don't worry. Keep
All
the conversation going on. So, Leighton, what projects you got going on? You're muted there, bud.
Nothing really. I've got my Aspen still. I need to get working on it, but I've made the decision to go full time on my own. So I'm gonna be welding at my wife's still working, and she makes plenty of money. And so I'm gonna try to start my own welding up here at the house.
Nice.
So I can go mobile, maybe.
Well, you can start by getting over there and helping Big Block with that coronet.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Nice. There you go.
So how much did you give for this pile?
This is the pretty side.
I know. I've seen the other side. I know this is the pretty side. That's why I
want to see the other side.
It's a really bad ding.
Listen,
back behind
there's nothing wrong with a sugar mama. I've got a sugar mama too. It's awesome.
Yeah,
if I could find one.
There's nothing wrong with sugar mama.
So the wheels, I guess, ran them $100. I mean, the wheels are worth $100, I hear, because that's what he paid for them.
Allegedly.
The tires are pretty shot, but they're on there. And I got her delivered to my driveway for $300. So
that's good.
I feel like you got $300 worth.
I think you got that.
Yeah, and really, rust-wise, it is not a rusty car. There's not a straight panel on it. I think the cowl might be straight.
The cowls, that's the one you want to be straight because those aren't fun to fix.
Yeah. Other than that, no, it's bad. It's really bad.
So are you gonna pull the trigger with this and do the thing?
So we have some new ideas on the thing of what the thing might be, and we're actually thinking about how hard would it be to spacer all of the subframe and drop it, and then shackle the back real high, and then maybe just put like a set of off-road BFGs on it.
Oh, so now instead of going, this is where you're going.
Yeah.
You just
a gambler build.
Yeah. Just like a total gambler. Just go throw it in the mud somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, would you make it all-wheel, four-wheel drive if you did that?
No, we're not doing that much effort.
Is that full frame underneath there?
No, that's a subframe car. That is
car.
It's very similar to the out bodies.
Sadly, the floor pans are actually really good. Like, it isn't even rusty underneath.
I find this hard to believe you say these.
So did I, and I was like, "Wow, there's actually like floorboards and stuff in here."
I mean, he's not wrong. It totally is within a gambler market, which you don't even find anymore. Does it run?
Oh no, there's so this car was essentially the parts car for the other one. So long story short, we built one earlier this summer, to anyone who cares to know. And then the person who purchased said car, he tore the motor that we had stuck in it immediately out, and he stuck an Oldsmobile motor back in. Well, to put the Oldsmobile motor back in, he needed a bunch of Oldsmobile parts. So he bought this car as a parts car for the car we built. So then when that car was done, he said, I have this perfectly good car and I'm going to junk it. So price was negotiated and it was delivered.
I mean, I feel like you make a runner out of her and just do whatever you want to do with it.
I have a 76 Chevy pickup with a really well-built running 350 and 350 turbo that I could literally just pull it out of the weeds, slap its drivetrain into this one and be done.
Well, this is the problem we run into. And when I say we, I mean when you tell me about these projects you're going to do. You have 100 of them that are in front of it.
Well, that's just it. So the list currently in front of me is Fairlane, Mark 7. We got to fix the Camaro because it's just too close not to fix it. And then then we could possibly bring in 73 Omega as long as we stay away from doing anything with Galaxies this year, or the Chevelle. And the Impala's good. So,
or the other thing that we don't talk about.
what's the other thing?
Never mind.
Oh yeah, that has to come in at some point too. So,
yeah, that thing. Yeah, there was no way to give you a hint on that without giving it away, so I was just gonna leave it alone.
That sounds like a thing we want to talk about.
Oh, he wants to talk about it, but it's sensitive. He can't be,
sensitive information.
Need to know, and unfortunately, boys, sorry.
Yep.
But
it's
that's
a project
a whole
car that we can't tell about to anybody until it's done. So.
Yes, and that's a project that has to be handled at some point on top of all of those other ones.
That's true. I keep forgetting that one exists because it doesn't live around me currently.
And it's double top secret. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem with that double top secret project is if you keep forgetting about it, it's never going to get done.
It's facts.
It's so secret we never did it.
Is this the one that's about an hour away?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's about 30 minutes away, but it's
30
out
minutes
there.
away.
Speaking of cheap cars, have you guys noticed that the old car market is on project type cars? They are really cheap right now.
It's hit and miss if you really want to look at it.
It depends where you are.
It depends on where you are, and it depends on the condition of the project you're talking about. Because running and driving cars, depending on what they are overly priced. But then you get into the less loved market, and they're getting really weirdly cheap. So it's like everybody's putting all their money in single baskets.
Yeah, for example, go find a cheap G body. Good luck.
I just saw a Monte Carlo Super Sport roller earlier today for $800.
I just got an '84 Cutlass last year for $500.
Really, you can't find them up here at all. There's just.
But that being said, that same Cutlass, there's a lot of guys that tell me they would have been able to get $2,000 for it. So.
Well, I think some of this is you got a lot of people that were able to pick up projects and work on projects in their garage or whatever through COVID and their jobs that they whatever. And now there's a lot of people that are like, I'm not going to finish that project, or shit, I got to go back to real work here and I can't have this thing I'm not working on. And people are bailing on projects that they took on.
Yeah, they just don't have time or money for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is tax time right now. That could be.
Yeah, but that's not a good thing either, because most people I've talked to about their taxes, they're like, I'm getting like $30 back. The government's robbing me. And it's like, no, they can't give out free money for like 3 years. And
well, they seem to be just keep continuing to do that. That seems to be true.
I know a few people that have talked to me about it recently.
Even with my 4 kids, I barely got anything back.
Yep.
Which is fine.
Clayton said it exactly right there. There was a lot of people that were getting these $6,000 checks in the past. Now they're like, nope.
Yeah.
Well, me and my wife made a lot more money last year than we ever had.
Yeah.
Well, that's good there,
so that was a big part of it. And she has a 1099.
Oh, on the flip side, good project cars, good ideas. That I don't know if any of you guys saw the Boxster that I picked up, that 2001 Boxster, but I just sold that car today and made.
Oh yeah.
And I made $4,000 off that car, so profit.
And that was a nice little Boxster though.
Yeah. I mean, it was Boxster.
Yeah.
I have a.
Oh no! I say nice little one because I sent dudes a picture of one that's for sale near me that I wanted a K swap. I thought I was selling him the idea.
How much is that one, lady?
What is that?
Yes, I was happy to make some money on
Monty SS. How much is it?
$2,800.
Eek.
Yeah.
And it's a T-top car? What is on top? Is it just a tarp?
Tarp.
It's a tarp.
Stuff, mats.
Okay. Because T-top cars means it has no floorboards.
And no motor.
Yeah, but that's what I said. $2,800 for that still, right?
Yeah, $2,800.
Pretty side.
Oh, there's nice. Oh, that's just the fender that's caved in on the. Oh no, quarter panel is.
Yeah, the quarter too, but that fender's way in there, dude.
Yeah, there might be some inner wheel.
Funny part is, if you want to try to find an Omega fender, you're gonna spend like $300 a fender.
Yeah.
There's one for sale around here. I
Those
saw it
wheels
last
though,
week.
man. Just yellow.
John, what's up, brother? How you doing?
So as far as bad idea, one of the things I was wanting to find is like a 80s Grand Prix. If I can even find one, there's so much money.
You want one?
Oh, boom. He's got one right here.
There you go. $200 is even the right one.
Yeah. Got
See,
you.
300 around here, $200 around there. I'm good to go.
You guys
Well,
are-
by the time I go get it, it's $300.
Yeah, it's going to be $300.
Wow,
Yeah.
Speaking
Speaking of,
Ryan, you have a good one, brother. Appreciate it. You have a good evening.
I want to see you. Speaking of, are you going to No Name Nationals this year?
Who you asking?
Huge.
I am. I cannot be fixed to any single act of decision.
We talked. Well, I believe we talked about this last time, and the answer was if I fly to Dude's house, Dudes will go with me if we go. But I don't know.
Well,
was that how we said
because I was looking at the route down, and potentially I could come through your neck of the woods.
Oh yeah, I'm like right on the way. No matter how you cut it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So if you're interested, then perhaps we can arrange something there, and I could chauffeur you down.
Oh yeah, you could probably work something out depending on how it all lands.
Yeah. So and like you said, it depends on how it lands, because I don't even know if I'm going for a fact. I'm full on planning on it, but it's still a number of months away. So
is that what we do? We show up at Dude's house a week before No Nationals, and you use the garbage that he's allotted in this 4 mile square lot. Oh my friggin'!
You're cutting out bad.
He's cutting out bad, but that's not a bad idea. We'll pick something and throw an engine in it and take it down there.
I got this sweet Omega.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Exactly. Yeah. Show up, scumbag the thing together, and then roll down to. How far is it from your place to there?
10 hours. 10-hour drive.
Oof. Never mind. Okay, there is no effing way I want to jam out and build whatever the garbage is you got laying around for this, and then jam for 10 hours. Oof.
Yeah, I was gonna go last year, but I had some crap happen with the Trans Am and didn't finish it. But I'm thinking about going this year, but I think it's like 14 hours for me. I'd probably have to trailer something and drive.
I need to get my small fiddle out here. Just a minute.
Well, so here's my idea.
You flew in last time. Yeah, you flew in last time.
Well, but I drove down to Arkansas, so I wasn't going to drive twice.
I drove back from Arkansas.
Yes,
I would like to get a Fairlane done, and then put some miles on the Fairlane. And then if miles have all worked out as they should, I would not be opposed to driving it to No Name Nationals for a weekend.
You think that thing makes it? Well, okay, you've taken a lot. You've knocked off.
Everything will be touched by then. Everything.
Yeah.
I can never talk about that car or do anything with that car without seeing the fire hazard that it will always be those first 2 videos to me. It doesn't matter. Even when we're looking at it, it's just, I don't know. I can't not see that every time.
I love that car, man. That thing's awesome.
I would not say that I love that car, but I definitely there's an affinity for that vehicle that I have. It invokes a feeling to me.
It's one of those things. I think it's one of those train wreck things, right? You just can't look away.
Yeah.
It's like we brought up the Holy Goat earlier, and the truck that he's now working on, and the Fairlane, the fire hazard Fairlane falls squarely into those categories where you're like, oh man, how did this thing not burn down?
You need to stop making it better and just lean into the bad and just scumbag that thing.
I bought an Omega for that.
I know.
At the end of the day, I have an Omega, and I don't like those. Where the Fairlane has like grown this little like tumor on me, and it's just like, you love me, you love me.
I don't think you do though.
I should cut you off and burn you, but
You
love me.
should. Yeah, he's definitely a growth of some sort.
It's a parasite.
Yes. Like it's not something you want, but once you have it, you're like, I'm okay with this.
It's a symbiotic parasite. It sits there and just feeds off
It's,
you.
not, it's definitely not symbiotic because that thing was just sitting out there with no front end for the last year.
Yeah.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey,
It's
now.
got all those bits back underneath it.
Yeah, she cannibalized a whole nother car.
The worst part is I called that guy back to see if he'd truly gotten rid of it just because I wanted to steal more parts off. And he's like, no, I cut it up. And I'm like, dang it. Because you know how hard it is to find another guy with a fair lane that's willing to sell stuff off of it?
I still cannot believe how much those ball joints were.
Yeah.
Was insane.
Oh my God.
Nuts.
Yes.
That was nuts.
So many parts on this car that the part number says rare. Like, what? You have to put that on the part number? Like,
That's
junk.
a Ford. That's a very Ford thing to do. I'm just gonna say that.
Well, yeah, you kind of nailed it there because it exactly is that. It's a very Ford thing to do. Oh, we only made it that way for that 6 months of that 1 year.
Well, and I get that because they were trying things and learning things, and I see some of the things where they're like,
Trying
that's
things.
not
Okay.
Here's the
That's
realization of what Ford did and why Ford was doing it wrong. So Ford went, we have this car and we're going to build it this way. Now, if it had an inline six, we built it this way, just minimal. We didn't overbuild it. We built it for the inline six. And then we'll put a V8 in it. Well, we're going to have to upgrade all this stuff to make a V8 work. All right, we'll do just enough for that V8. Oh, well, there's a bigger V8. Nah, we'll add just a few more things for the bigger V8. We'll never just build a car and just put multiple motors in it like General Motors did.
Yeah.
We'll just build 4 cars because they have 4 different motors. And they'll be completely different cars because they came with 4 different motors.
Well, okay, so were they doing that because they were like had a bunch of different parts laying around, or
no, they re-engineered pieces for every car?
Actually, I don't know how long they had this policy, but Ford does actually have a bonus policy for engineering.
Yes.
Yes. So that if you innovate and create a new, it doesn't matter if it's better or not, your department gets a bonus.
Yep.
And the story goes that the guys that designed the wheels for Ford, they were tired of not getting their bonus. So that's when they changed the bolt pattern 4 times just so they could get their engineering bonus.
Oh, shut.
Yeah. The hub, the center hub on the wheels of my 67 Galaxy that came with disc brakes is a different center hub than the 67 Galaxy that didn't come with disc brakes.
See, I'm sorry. The more when I find out things like this about Ford, it doesn't make me hop on the Ford band. You're not helping me.
There's a reason why I'm not on that
I try. I really do sometimes try not to hate on Fords all of the time. And then there's days like today where you guys just don't make that easy for me.
Well, it doesn't mean it's a bad car. It just means the standard box of bolts and parts is not
by the
standard
same
anymore.
token. It doesn't mean it's a good car either.
Oh no.
Don't get me
So
wrong.
that
There's some nice
explains the 7 lug wheels on the 90s F-350s.
Yeah.
Yeah, because an odd number of lugs makes total sense.
Just shake his head.
You're picking up what I'm putting down. Yep.
Somebody somewhere went, if we have one more lug, it'll meet the requirement. But what if we just give it 8? Now we only need 1 more. You're putting too much into this.
We can give it 8 next year. Get our bonus again.
But that's Ford's thing. Ford strictly went, we built just enough that it worked.
Yeah.
Well, there's somebody in the county who's doing the math there. 1 lug nut for every vehicle.
Yeah.
4 lug nuts, actually. Every
They
vehicle.
saved a lot of money.
Think of all the money they saved. They paid for that bonus.
So here's the best part about that ball joint we're talking about. That ball joint has a steel plate that is part of the ball joint that goes to the forward strut bar. The forward strut bar is what keeps the whole lower control arm from doing this. So that thing bolts to the lower control arm, which is part of the ball joint. If you have the inline 6 car instead of the V8 car, it didn't have that plate. The forward strut arm just bolted to the pop cam metal lower control arm. So it's just kind of like, we could run it without the plate, and it's a way cheaper ball joint, but it's probably engineered that way for a reason. And then there was even a thought in my head where I'm like, I could buy the cheaper ball joint and weld the plate on it.
But then you'd probably burn your ball joint up doing that.
Yes.
We talked about that. Yeah, I said his lack of TIG welding ability was probably going to come back to haunt him at that point.
That all the heat and wire, and it just wouldn't work out.
It wouldn't work out. Nope, it won't be strong.
I know someone that scrapped a aircraft engine because they welded on the case of it, and because of how they grounded it, it went through all the bearings.
Yeah, that grounding part's kind of fun, you know. You got to put it closer to where you're doing it.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. No.
I learned that the hard way on why you unhook a battery when you weld on a car. Just saying.
I have never had that problem yet.
Because you don't unhook it, or it just never caused you a problem?
It hasn't caused me a problem yet. Both,
or it just never,
those.
When it was being welded on, it really just didn't have a drivetrain or battery to begin with.
All of those scenarios I've done, and I've not had a negative problem.
All right, because
I don't know how many modern cars you've worked on, but you know you're not supposed to, if you're doing any soldering, you're not supposed to use an electric soldering iron inside near the instrument panel or a steering wheel on it, because it can potentially set off the airbags.
That would suck.
Through what magic?
Yeah, tell me more of your magic, Gypsy.
This is what the safety precaution.
Like a Harry Potter one? Like
the induction from the induction field can potentially transfer over into the airbag wire, supposedly, and set the airbag off. So you're supposed to use like one of those propane or butane powered.
Did you say induction field?
Yeah.
Induction field. The electrical induction field. This is only if you have a classy soldering iron.
I was going to say,
not your Harbor Freight special.
I don't know that my freaking my Milwaukee soldering iron over there is going to have a problem with this particular.
You solve that. You put a tinfoil hat on. No more problems.
You ground it.
Might work.
ESD strap. You just.
Hey, I'm just telling you the precautions.
I believe you.
So that's my question too. What happens?
That.
What happens when you don't?
Well, when that airbag goes off in your face, because
no, not the airbag. I'm talking about the if you weld with the battery.
Oh, so I've done it, and that battery's no more.
I've never had a problem.
Yeah.
So the only time I've ever had an issue with it is when you have a grounding issue with your welder. So I know when you do a lot of in the field welding, because you're on a rig welder or whatnot, and it's its own deal, they want to make sure the batteries and everything are whatever, disconnected.
Now, mind you, this battery was grounded in a trunk very close to the frame rail we were working on, but it boiled the battery.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so you're saying its proximity to the bits you made very hot was close? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, no. The power went through the battery to get to ground, and
this was a stock ground location on a stock vehicle, or there some
it was
tomfoolery?
A ground right to the frame of the car, the frame we were welding on, the frame that we clipped the ground clamp to.
Well, I have obviously I'm going to be doing a lot of welding and some whatnot, but I have welded exhausts on so many cars that we don't disconnect the battery on. And
I'm not saying you got to. I'm just saying science says
I've heard that, and when I'm going to do like floorboards or some serious, or like we're going to weld a bumper on this thing, or I'm going to do some serious welding, I always disconnect the battery if I think about it. But there's been plenty of times when I haven't, and it's been fine. Did you die? No.
I don't know the science. All I know is that battery wasn't cheap to replace.
My dad asked me every time I weld on one of the pieces of equipment about that. Like that whole repair I did on the blade on that excavator, that thing was hooked up and welded on and moving and on and doing everything all throughout that process and had zero fucks given.
Things.
Speaking of batteries and expense, I was in my local Costco the other day, and I noticed that they no longer have batteries.
I probably should. Snow Tiger. What do you mean they don't have batteries?
I went into my local Costco, and they no longer had the battery rack there.
Costco.
Oh, Canada is not allowed to have batteries anymore. Sorry, did we not tell you about that?
Whoa, is that what's going on?
Now that everything's going EV, you guys can't have batteries.
Yeah, you
Well,
can't have
that could
batteries
be-
anymore now that
that
they're
could
bad
be.
for you.
Because I was thinking, oh, I'm going to go look at the price of a battery for my Trans Am because I plan on starting to work on it, getting it down to no name nationals. So I was like, all right, let's go check out the price of batteries. I know they're stupid expensive now. So and I was like, where's the batteries? There's no batteries here. And it's a recent development because it wasn't that long ago that they were in there.
I noticed the other day that my Home Depot has an automotive section, which I thought was odd.
Home Depot.
Oh, what do you mean automotive section?
Like there's an
Like
aisle
buy
of some
parts
oil.
or buy wheel
No.
shine?
They have some oil and oil filters.
Yeah.
and
No, so the Home Depot I have has that, but we have a fleet farm and they actually sell car parts. Like you got to look in the
Really?
book and find your own part numbers, but it's full shelves of starters, thermostats. I mean, shock struts, random stuff. Like they you'll go through and you'll start looking up part numbers on boxes and you're like, oh, 89 Supra, cool. Like who has one? of those?
Garbage. Yeah, so everyone I've been into, yeah, there's just a bunch of like AutoZone crap almost and oil and whatnot at the Home Depot.
Yeah, it's not good. But I did notice that it appears to be cheaper than AutoZone and Advanced Auto.
Oh, really? 'Cause I've been getting my oil
yeah.
from Tractor Supplies normally where I get it's cheaper.
There's a caveat to that. So I actually read a study that they did this whole thing, and you'll buy, like, let's say castor oil from Walmart compared to castor oil from the parts store. The castor oil from Walmart is not tested at the same stringency of the parts store. It's a different quality. It's a different grade. So when they do quality control testing, they do not do the same quality control testing on Walmart oil.
And where is that indicated on my oil that I buy?
It's not. It just says it's met the standard.
That's all Walmart products.
Yep.
And
it's not that it's a lesser grade. It's just it was not quality controlled at the same standard. So that means they made 10,000 batches. They tested 3. Where the other ones, they made 10,000 batches. They tested 300. So,
but it could have come out of the same vat of oil that all the other oil came out of.
Correct.
Yes.
So
there's just the world you never know. Okay.
Yes. It's like, well, did we catch the bad batch? Maybe not in the Walmart one.
You know, a fun fact about oil is it's all bottled from the same spot. Change the labels, put different additives in it. It's different oil.
Yep.
But
Well,
different detergent. Get off here and get these kids something to eat.
All right, brother. We appreciate it.
All right.
They're all awake now. So.
Uh-oh.
Have fun with that.
I do some welding.
Hell yeah.
But that's like tires too. You got to be careful with your tires. You have to see where they're manufactured because you can have the same tire manufactured in 3 different places, and 2 of them are good.
Yeah.
Well, another one too is you can get tires from overseas that are good tires. You can spend a bunch of money on them, but if you actually look at the date code of when they were made, they can be 4 years old before you even buy them.
Yep.
Well, you get on eBay a lot. You can find a lot of really nice tires for cheap because they're up front and like, hey, these are old, new stock.
Yeah, no warranty.
If you're gonna put them on there and go beat the shit out of your tires, then sure, you need like for someone like me who destroys tires, that's the kind of thing I need. New old stock.
It's kind of like the discussion we were having the other day about how I should get a tire sizer versus the stupidity that I was pulling off, but. I don't like how any of those tires fit, by the way. I'm like,
I knew you wouldn't. And so they're all going back.
Yeah, I'll probably keep them. I'll just put them on.
He's probably going to keep them inside. You're such a hoarder. This dude, instead of buying the thing that locks on and lets you see what offset you need for a rim, and how big, and all of this thing, he just ordered 3 different size tires, 1 of each, and shipped them to the house to see how they work. And guess what?
Tires or wheels?
Tires.
Tires to go on wheels.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the tires have nothing to do with offset, so you're fine.
Well, the thing is, if I would have just spent the $127 for the thing that just grips into the tire you buy, then you just bolt it on, and then you can figure out offset, see if the tire clears. You know, instead of buying like 3 different tires at $40 some a pop. So
Yeah, fair enough.
For real. Well, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about not hoarding a tool, and he doesn't hoard the tool. I mean, come on.
Did you just buy the tool?
Should just buy the tool. I can't say too much to it because I've wanted the tool for a very long time. I can't bring myself to.
I own a TIG welder, and I TIG weld drill bits to sticks.
Yeah, and I can't even justify that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
But we talked about it. If I did it more than one, the TIG welder gives me a capability of something that I will use for things, whereas that gives you a capability of something that
it does. But like I said before, and I had that discussion, once you buy the thing that allows you to go like, I need this back spacing, this offset, this everything, and then you just go open the catalog and you go, they don't make those. Like, so that's all it's going to prove to you is like, well, this is the closest I'm going to get, and they only make the 3 closest you're going to get, so why own the tool? Because you can only buy 3 rims affordably.
Well, because
anyway.
the tool will get you into the ballpark.
Yeah.
Like right now, you've missed.
I don't. I've always wanted to buy that tool as well, but then that would mean I'd have to go out and buy like new rims.
Yes.
And I don't buy new rims. I buy used rims, and then when I get the used rims, I put in like some spacers to make it work.
Yes. So the second you had that tool, then you would know what you need, and you'd be like, well, I'm not paying for that.
Yeah, but you can go at least, now I know I need
you can go
this
to a company
this
and tell them I need this, this, and this, make me a wheel, and it's only like $400 a wheel.
I was.
Is it really? That's not. Uh-oh.
Are we saying not good or not bad?
That's not. Well, he's frozen. Starlink said no.
Starlink.
He's back.
My Starlink's, dropping in and out.
Did somebody say something bad about Tesla? What's going on in the chat?
Tesla, what happened to that? Elon is here, man. Yeah. Jeez.
But
I said something bad about Twitter.
I just winged it with the backspace. I was like, that looks like I need about a 3-inch spacer. I'll just order those.
So I legitimately, I put longer studs on my Impala last year because I was redoing the axle bearings and everything anyway, because the aftermarket wheels that were on it, they did not work well with the factory studs that were way too short. So I went through and I put all longer studs on it just for, I like having a little longer, more thread engagement. And then I started staring at it. And on the driver's side, when you roll the car over real bad, because the panhard bar bushing's a little worn out, it'll rub the top of the tire on the inside of the frame. And it's only a little bit. I'm not a spacer person, but I actually went out and I found just the minuscule amount of spacer to put on that car so it wouldn't affect anything. And I'm only going to put it on the one side that rubs.
Oh, jeez.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Well, back to the wheel discussion. I've got my 68 Chevy truck. And I'm so cheap. I'm trying to figure out how to auger out the center section of my modern Yukon wheels so I can put them on that truck.
That's a bad idea.
I know it is.
They have a lot of strength in this. I mean, if you can auger them out and then maybe like TIG weld it, like.
No,
the thing about those aluminum wheels, they once they break through with the casting edges, they get really weak.
Yeah. And I just but I just need something for around the yard right now, and I don't want to go and spend a bunch of money on wheels or in spacers. Mm-hmm. I was looking at spacers. I was thinking about it.
Cheap.
Yeah, they're not that cheap though. They're still $100.
They're not the cheapest thing ever.
I bought a set of spacers for a Jeep.
That's $100 is kind of cheap when you consider what new rims would cost.
But it's still $100. I don't like spacers because they are prone to break.
When I'm done when I'm done with this truck, I'm not going to use those wheels. I'm going to have something else on it.
Just for moving.
I just want something.
I think it's a cheap for getting it around. Yeah, no, it's to get what you want and figure.
I happen to have the wheels sitting here, so I just want to try to figure out how to get them on the truck somehow, so that the truck doesn't.
I actually found out buying the bigger spacer was cheaper for the Jeep I have sitting in the yard. And I got cheaper spacers because they were bigger. So I got a 3.5-inch spacer. And that's going to go on the old Jeep wheel because the ball joint's broke and the tire rubs the strut. And the spacer is going to stop that from happening. So it can drive around the yard.
Dude, donuts. I like it. Perfect. So, Corey, I I'm Team Blue. It really depends on what you're doing for TIG welding, man.
Oh, that has a horrible connotation. I'm gonna type that because it's racist. What I just thought.
I'm Team Blue. Is that?
Well, so when it comes to the big ones, you got red, which is Lincoln, and then Miller, that's blue. And so
And there's actually combination welders out there too that you might want to look into. They can do TIG, stick, and MIG.
You don't do any of it well.
And plasma cutting.
No, you can't say that, dude.
You can't say that.
You can't say that. I'm glad that you're grown enough to text it to me and then be like, I can't say that, right? And I can be like, no, you can't. No, it's not a thing. But yeah, I know I looked at the Lincoln before I bought mine, and realistically, I bought the Miller one because it looks just like the other Miller I have, and it let me do up to 1/4 inch thick aluminum, which is about what as thick as I think I'll ever need to do in aluminum. I don't think any reason I'd be doing much thicker for what I'm up to. But if you're gonna be getting into thick stuff, you need different. There's a lot of what you do.
He just sent me.
Yeah, I figured as much. Yeah, Jim's over there like, I have no idea what's going on. It's okay. Yeah.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, what the hell, man? Don't worry. So, oh man. So, we've talked about our current bad projects and ideas.
Well, I got a bad one.
Ooh.
So I was
There you go. I sent it to you midnight.
And I was looking out in the field. I'm looking at the 67 Pontiac Parisienne. And the original plan is to LS swap this car. It's going to be my son's car. Then I got to thinking, I got a few Hemis lying around. Perhaps I'll just throw a Hemi in that. And I was like,
You and your Hemi. Listen, I will say I find that hilarious that people do these Hemi swaps and then people sell their Hemi swap vehicles.
Oh. I'm not laughing at you, mongrels. I'm laughing at what dude sent me.
Yeah.
He finally got his message. Yeah, this guy can't take him anywhere. Well, there's good and bad about both brands. I found for me at the end of the day, I liked the stuff that I've already got going with Miller. I don't necessarily think it was totally brand deal because I got a thicker for the money. I was able to do thicker material, and then realistically, it looked like the other one, so I liked that.
So my big thing with Lincoln versus Miller, because I'm the Miller guy and I'm the cheap Miller guy because I own Hobart. But
Hobart as well.
Yeah. Now Miller's
Becky,
pretty much stayed the same, and when they do change, they keep all the same parts. And what I've learned about Lincoln is once they redesign everything, good luck.
Yes, that's why I really like Miller, because you can just go back and buy parts for the old Millers a long time ago. Still, you can find parts for them.
So we're gonna put a Hemi in a what, mongrels?
A 67 Pontiac Parisienne.
Oh, I love
it.
Right.
I've seen that car on your thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, so what training?
Well, I'll probably put the Dodge Trans. I'll put the 545
RFE
in it.
Whole swap.
Just whole send it, yeah.
I too like to live dangerously.
I'm going to tell you right now, Dodge setup is going to be way cheaper than what you could ever put a Pontiac setup back in it. So.
Oh yes.
Facts.
Well, I'm just looking at Oldsmobile stuff right now, going, nope.
That car wasn't originally Pontiac because it's a Canadian Pontiac.
Oh yeah. So it'd be a Chevy.
So it's a Chevy.
Yeah. I forgot. It was a Pontiac built in a Chevy plant.
Yeah, but it uses all Chevy underpinnings and drivetrain because it's not wide body either.
Yep.
Or wide track, sorry. Let me get the.
Yep.
It's
wide track. Didn't have the fancy options the Americans get.
It's basically a Bonneville on a
really.
Chevy.
I had a Miller Blue Star. I couldn't put a capacitor.
I'm sure there are some older ones for to rebuild on the inside of it, or
to rebuild a board,
I guess, or one of the big discharges or whatever on the Blue Stars. I don't know, because they use big capacitors in order to weld. There's a lot of tomfoolery and gypsy magic going on in welders, so I don't quite understand. A couple old Miller rigs. Can't get
Well,
parts.
some
for
of
it.
that
Huh.
industrial level stuff. I mean, we're not talking industrial level stuff.
Okay, I guess I made it. So consumables are the parts that I find are easy to get for the Miller rigs going older. If we're talking about actual like internal working parts, like a reeler or something like that, I can't speak to that necessarily.
So,
I
so
just
what
remember
would,
having a plasma cutter that you couldn't get the tips, the consumables that wear out anymore, and I know Miller is better about that.
so
but,
what we're trying to say is Miller is the Chevys
Welder generator,
and Lincolns
right
are the
there.
Fords.
I would not. No, I wouldn't put that on Lincoln. I don't think Lincoln deserved that.
See, those
no.
old welder generators, they were pretty bulletproof to begin with.
I would.
But those
I
are
would. I do
industrial.
not have that much of a hate against Lincoln. No, I like Lincoln welders.
Oh yeah,
would
I
not-
don't. That's the worst part. I don't hate Lincoln at all.
No,
Like,
Well,
think
I
they're good
seriously
welders,
was
too.
when I would before I bought mine. I looked at the Lincoln, the lady at the air gas, and I talked about Lincoln. She's like, I know you like the Millers, but look at this one. And I considered it, but at the end of the day, I was like, I'm going to do 1/4 inch aluminum at some point with something I'm doing around here. For me, it was worth it in the end to get the extra capability on that.
I mean, I
without
learned to
going
weld on a Lincoln Tombstone.
expensive.
I mean,
like I said, I had you saw my little Matco freaking MIG welder I had for forever. I mean, you could do whatever with a good little welder.
Well, that little Hobart I have, that's a dual power. I can do the 120 or the 240. So
yep, you got an MVP.
That is nice.
Yeah.
I have that same welder. I bought it too cheap to walk away from it. I've never used it.
oh,
Really?
Yep, because I have a 190. 190, 140.
The Hobart one, yeah.
Yeah, I have a 140. I only have 120 volt in my garage, so I have no reason to have the multi-volt one when it's the
Yep.
same welder, essentially.
I've
I know
got
my
a-
dad has used it because I left it at his house because he actually has 220 and he welded my bench together with it.
okay.
Well,
Sweet.
so I talked to a couple of guys that do welding stuff, and when I was looking at getting my first rig, because I was going to get an all-in-one, because that seems like the right idea. And my buddy who does a lot of welding is like, the problem with an all-in-one is it doesn't do anything well. Does it all, but it doesn't do anything really well. And my MIG, I love that MIG. You can just stick things together. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah.
It
thing
did a
just
nice
sinks.
job on that exhaust and those engine mounts.
It did. I love that thing.
Lincoln 140. Yep. Yeah, I think that's a really good welder too. Mine's the Hobart 140, I think, and I think a lot of most welders at that level, I don't think there's really a bad one if you stick with any of the name brand.
Yeah.
As long as the consumables are going to be like, I get what he's saying. Once you get into capacitors and all those other things, and who knows what
Yeah, who knows what.
but consumables, or if you can't get the tip that you gall up or whatever anymore, then you're screwed.
Well, I bought my Hobart 140 super cheap because it's a flux, so you can switch the polarity and run it as a flux instead of a MIG, so non-gas. And the guy had bought it and was just riding around the back of a truck with a small generator, and he was welding fences for a farmer. And he ended up melting the stinger down because he didn't understand how any of it worked, and just ruined the whole stinger on the welder. It was junk. And he got paid for the job, so he didn't care. And then he was selling the whole unit. So he paid like $580 for that welder. I came and looked at it, and I'm like, I'll give you $150. It's got a messed up stinger.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, you're bending me over. And I'm just like, it's broke. But you know what you can do.
Yeah,
So I bought it off him for $150, drove home. I think I got online and I got the cheapest Chinesium, whatever knockoff stinger you could get. There was a Hobart for $70.
Brandon's like,
done.
don't cheap out on consumables. He's the cheapest.
It's a stinger. I put all the Hobart nozzles and everything on it. I mean, it's just the feeder.
It'll be fine, but did you die?
The one thing I will say, though, it's supposed to have a spring on the spooler that allows it to spool. And I actually have 2 nylon nuts that I just tighten and loosen to get the right pull.
Wow.
And I go, good to go. It's fine.
Covered in packing oil. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I will never buy. Where did I buy cheap spool? What pissed me off the most, I bought a brand new big spool, put it in my welder, and I didn't look at the spool. I just peeled the packaging off of it. I didn't realize it was cracked. And the second it started spooling out, I started welding, and all of a sudden the welder stopped. And when I opened the door, it just and I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
See, this is why I feel like cameras should be on 24/7, because the fact that that wasn't caught.
Oh, that's on camera.
Oh,
there's
is it?
video of me sitting there throwing this shit everywhere.
Why have we not seen that? Why has the world not seen that? Becky, you better be careful out there.
When I redid my F-150, that's on that video.
Oh, why is that not highlighted? So, speaking of old videos, I don't know if you saw, but I did old video compilation. God, going through and watching that and redoing it, I was just like, God, I didn't know what YouTube was about at all back then.
Yeah, and that's my problem with all this old video. Every time I go back to try to edit something, I'm like, God, I was bad at this.
Well, not only was I bad, just some of the things we said about, it's not wasted time. If we I'll spoiler alert that we made $1,000 off of way too much time and effort into doing that stupid freaking bike. That bike was not worth it at all. And going back and seeing now and listening to myself and him talk about it, I'm just like,
working
God, we're idiots
in the cold in an enclosed trailer.
Just get idiots, get this stupid thing done to make $1,000 in a video series that no one watched.
Well, all I know is I was really not good at it, and I'm still not good at it. So,
well, I mean, so here's the thing: get good at it is such a subjective term, and I think if you don't apply that to your own thing, that's the only person.
I am not good at it, but I feel as I am as good as other people that people watch.
Gary, how are you, brother?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Is that where you're going with it?
That's the bar.
That's the bar. Yeah.
I look at their content and I go, yeah, mine's about that shitty. People are watching this, so
I don't. I've just found you just gotta keep posting shit. That's all.
There's a volume metric there somewhere. You put enough volume in, something's gonna come back.
Well, and I know, Becky, it's weird me telling you to be careful. I see the irony there. Yeah, it's definitely one of those where it's a style there. Like, I chopped an entire 6 or 7, 8, 10 video series into a 30-minute video series that it should have probably been in the first place, and I probably could have made it shorter and it would have worked. You know what I mean? And that's seriously just
there's 5 Fairlane videos that at the beginning of every one of those videos, that was like an hour-long video every time. I knocked them all the way down to 7 to 10 minutes, and realistically I could put them all together, cut out even more, probably make a 13 video out of all 5 videos and just be done with it.
Well, I've definitely found with the long form videos that are kind of like how to, if it's not how to on something new that lots of people have and lots of people want to know about, nobody's watching it. If you're doing a how to on a 1965 C10, nobody's watching that. They would rather see it done the way all these other YouTube, like if you watch like Vice Grip Garage, he doesn't fix anything on that show. When you watch it, he fixes it, but he doesn't show them. He doesn't show fixing anything. It's just
and that's no one wants to see. No one wants to watch you fix the thing
because that's not entertainment. So with old cars, it's got to be entertaining. It can't just be a how-to because most people work on old cars already know how to do it. So
you gotta. We talk about this, dudes and I, all the time. You gotta shoot to your audience, your metric. You gotta know your people, essentially, like that. And so making things that dudes and I think are good videos, and we find this all the time. A lot of people that I talk to that make their own content, the videos that they think are going to be the video that's awesome, no one watches and no one likes. Almost like we're the wrong people. Like I don't try to make a video for me.
I honestly sat down this entire week and decided I don't have a lot of shorts content to show. I've done picture format shorts before. It doesn't work. People don't want to watch a picture scroll across the screen. It's not eye-catching enough. They want to just watch a video. There isn't really much difference there, but they just want to see that video. So I tried to incorporate, I'm going to work on this thing. And throughout working on this thing, I scripted, staged, and made the thing happen the way I wanted it. as I worked on this control arm. I made sure I did it in a ridiculous way that people would be upset about, that people would comment about it. And all these things incorporated into a 30-second short, and nobody watched them. There was so much thought wasted, and it's like, I just need to go film cars and talk. I mean, it works. I don't know why.
55%, no.
I mean, to be fair, we did talk about this in the beginning, that it's always, we've gotten you to talk about and with stupid things, and it's always about how you talk about them more than what it is you're talking about.
So all of my shorts that I spend way too much time on, those are the ones that never get any views. I can whip out a short in less than a minute with 15 seconds of walking around the car with some music behind it, and it'll do 2,000 views. I can spend 2 hours on one editing it and making it nice, and 3 people will watch it. Yeah.
Well, I go back to what Fox said. It's machine gunner and accuracy by volume. And I'm totally doing that now. And that was how I did it when I went through the shorts thing too, because you started doing shorts and like, hey, you were the first one in our crew of people we were hanging out with that actually were like, hey, I can make the short thing do the thing we've been talking about doing. And so I think Dudes and I kind of went in behind you after you had got your 1,000, and we did the gear up for shorts, and then shorts just boomed.
You know what's funny about that? It's been only it's been a year and a week since I did that.
Yeah,
that was I started doing the shorts thing at the Asphalt Angels show last year. I made went there, made a whole bunch of videos, 15-second videos, and then went and uploaded a bunch. While I was having dinner at Outback, I probably uploaded 20 of them all at one time, and all of a sudden my subscriptions were going up, way up. And I was like, this works. You just have to post a crap ton of them all at once.
That's right, because that's when we started talking about it, is when we were doing the LS Volvo build, because that's when, Brian, you were talking about, if they don't hit, change the music up a bit.
Yep. And resend it. Well, what you didn't know is that some Jim and I had already talked about, and I was just sharing what we were talking about with you guys, is because he was already doing that. We were doing it. If it doesn't hit a thing, we would switch it and send it. And that's when I was like, there's no rhyme or reason to shorts. It's literally shotgun mentality, just blast. So I started blasting.
And I think some of it's volume. Like, dude, you do a lot of volume. I like, holy smokes, man, you do a lot. But and I think that's part of it, is you just saturated the channel with these shorts. Right?
Then you go back to the other side as, are you oversaturated? Because I was doing 5 a day, and Dudes was like, no, you can only do 2 a day, maybe 1 a day. And so we've done a lot of science.
It's a different metric for a different channel. It's not consistently the same.
Yeah.
Well, that's if you want to believe that the numbers aren't skewed, made up, or messed up, because they come to there's a whole nother, despair version of YouTube where you're like, are any of these metrics real? They apply a 10% rule on a lot of the metrics because of spams, and bots and whatnot.
And here's the thing I just showed you. So I have 436 comments and 43,000 votes on a poll.
Way behind on the comments.
That poll gets seen by people that aren't subscribers in a pretty dramatic number, because I can't get 43,000 people to show up to watch a short. So...
Well, and it's like we talked about earlier. If YouTube shows your thing to a bunch of people, there's going to be a return on subscribers and other things. If they don't show it to anybody, then no one sees it.
I'm going to use these polls as a perfect example, because if I can get 43,000 people to vote...
Half fast, what's up, brother?
Why can't I get 43,000 people to watch a short?
Why can't you get 43,000 people to watch a long form?
Well, the long form is just, that's completely over here on the table.
Even 44,000 engagements.
The people aren't watching the long form for the same reason I was talking about earlier. It's the content. The content is, it's old cars.
I think it's the length. Nobody wants to watch you repair a car anymore. They want to watch you scumbag it together and beat it down the road.
Some people do. You say you're lumping people.
Well, there is groups.
I will watch
the majority.
Yes.
I think my old car long form stuff would do a lot better if I had a cameraman and a couple other people that were over at my shop hanging out, and there was some back and forth. I think it would do better.
I have said that the smaller videos seem to hit a weird out. I have a 3-second video that hit a bunch of views in like an hour and then died. It's weird.
Yeah.
I was hoping that snow was not going to be a big thing this week. I still have snow from the last snowstorm. Sorry, I'm trying to get to some comments here, get us caught up a bit. We are way behind. Everyone's saying, "Hey,
I still got
half-assed in the
snow from
house."
last year.
Well, yeah, up there.
About that.
Repair videos, smaller demographic. I worry about repair videos and how-tos with liability on people are not getting smarter, it seems, and I've talked about this before, but I may be crazy. Yeah, definitely not the expert on anything.
That's only a day old. Yeah, 43,000 votes in a day.
Yep.
Well,
we got voted for the Supra.
There's certainly no rhyme or reason to it. Like the one video, the short I did on the GTO, where I was joking that it was we've had hybrids since the 70s. It did okay for me on YouTube, but that thing's still going gangbusters on Instagram. Like
Yeah.
it's got over like probably 800 likes now and thousands upon tens of thousands of views. I was just like, why? Why did it do so good over here, but not over here? You know, and normally my stuff doesn't do all that good on Instagram either.
Like today's video I put up 8,400 views. Throw that away. It's junk. We're gonna burn that. So
8,400 views in a day, and I'm like, oh my god, we're.
I'd be so excited about that.
Here. Oh my god!
But it's the perfect
really made
point.
it. I'm quitting my job.
In that same day, 43,000 votes on a post, but I can't get 8,500 views on a video.
You know, the 43,000 on that post, there's no way to monetize that.
No. And so they control the cards.
Don't try to monetize it at that point. You're just trying to get. Well, this is like we were trying to get people with shorts to come watch long form. They've done such a good job of separating those that they can.
Well, here's the funny part. The post has to be shown to people to be seen. It's not anything that's going to be driven in the algorithm.
Dozer gets all the views.
Why does YouTube show a post that I make to 43,000 people, but don't show the same 43,000 people a video that they have subscribed to see?
Well, so describing that's the trick. The fact that 43,000 people popped on that when you have 100,000 people. But what's the percentage of people that have notifications turned on for you, though?
I don't even know how to look at that.
Hey, Becky, on those YouTube,
maybe I need to bag for that more. Maybe that's.
I've watched some of the YouTube creator stuff from YouTube, and it's not geared at me. It's geared at people that are 20-something.
I don't think it's geared at them either. So from what I've gathered,
I've sat in the special meetings. It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I do continue to watch stuff like that.
I find things out that do help and make me.
There's little tidbits that you got to pick and choose from in a lot of that information. It doesn't. Not all of it applies to everyone, obviously, but there's little gems here or there that if you pick at them, that
seriously, it's not like it's the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
Like seriously, and even YouTube, I think dudes and I go back on this particular subject. We go back and forth all of the time because dude wants to give the algorithm a lot of credit, and I want to be like, I don't even think the algorithm's real. I think they made it up so there's no accountability for what they do. YouTube can do whatever they want, and when somebody doesn't like what they've done, they'll be, oh, it's not us, man. It's the algorithm, man. We're trying to fix it. It's got a mind of its own.
And I meet somewhere in the middle where I think the algorithm is an unruly machine that no one controls. And then occasionally when it gets off track, they have to go, no. Okay, we gotta line this thing back up. But nobody gets views today because this thing's broken today.
And that is kind of that we go back and forth on who may be right on that. And it's funny because sometimes he'll bring an argument to the table. I was like, are you fighting for my side or your side here? I'm really confused on what the line is here.
I know that it does actually categorize you. I know that much. So it'll say,
if it can.
Yeah, if it can, it'll say, oh, you're a car channel.
It is pennies.
If you ever venture off being a car channel, then you mess it right up for a while.
Well, yes and no. Here's the thing. Jeremy right here. Jeremy is here from the Little Dozer video stuff from Shorts. And he's 100% right. My Little Dozer video is back to life. It died and it's back. It's doing 10,000 views in the last days for some reason. I don't know. I don't understand it. It just did. Go ahead. I don't understand why that Little Dozer video is so big to begin with. It's just my dad pushing some dirt down the mountain. And other than everyone that'll tell me that we're doing it wrong, you know what I mean? I don't understand why that one became the thing. And I would love to get back into doing more.
It's weird which ones become a thing.
I honestly believe there's a magical threshold where
How are you, brother?
Oh, hey, long time no here, cousin. But if you pass that magical threshold, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, it doesn't matter. They start pushing your content.
Well, and so that's why I was asking about the Elvis thing, if it was pulling some of the other stuff, because I have seen, like you're saying, where you get one and it'll vacuum some things up, essentially.
I definitely. I mean, it's not a lot of other views, but if I put Elvis music behind some other cars, it seems to get more numbers. But I think that people really like the Elvis video because Elvis used to own the car. So, you know.
Well, I find you get the initial push.
I'm sorry, Jeremy. I thought you had not been around. Okay.
Every video gets that initial little push. But if it happens to go past that certain threshold, then I think they keep on pushing it is what happens. But you have to make it past that threshold. That's my theory anyways.
You know, over 100% watch. I mean, it's like, I think it goes like 139%.
Nope.
So one thing I can tell you, Becky, that I have seen from watching a lot of other YouTubers is bootstraps.
I'd like to say
in
something
the automotive community.
What they just said right there. There used to be some bad math that I would say anything over 100% watch time is just gold and it's going to make it, right?
Remember that one.
None of my videos get over 72%.
Which is crazy because my average for my shorts is 122%.
Yes.
If I will get nasty down arrows like you suck at what you're doing at YouTube from YouTube. If I get 110% view time,
if I got 110% view time, I'd lose my mind. I'd be like, "What is happening right now?"
I've noticed though with mine the over 100% generally does good, but also the likes to amount viewed percentage.
Well, and that percentage comes back to if they are farming out your videos and showing it to more people, the percentage is just not going to be high. So if the percentage is down, it doesn't really dictate the quality or good of your video, which I used to think, because more times that it's down means they've showed it to way more people. The impressions are way higher.
And we were able to
what gets
that
views.
because we put his metrics against my metrics, and we were able to see that just the sheer fact of them showing them to all these people scaled everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I used to think the exact same thing. It's like, man, if I can get a video to get 120%, that means somebody watched it and then watched it a little bit again. And that means it's going to take off. But if they show it to 2 million people, that's never going to be the metric. And if it is, that thing's probably going to get 20 million views. I don't know.
Well,
but
exactly. Go look at some of your top. You can, I believe, see what your average is, top viewed videos.
Yep.
And it's the ones that are multiple million views. The metric is not good for view duration.
No.
Well, I'm guessing the reason dudes is, and maybe I'm wrong about this because I'm not sure how you get more than 100% view of a video, but
it's watch and then rewatch. If somebody's watching it twice in a row.
Yeah, on a short, they'll just run. So if someone stays on your short for 5 times in a row, that's 500%.
The best thing about a short is if people are commenting on your short, it continues to run in the background and loop.
Yes,
right. Yeah.
But I do think there's part of the
times.
algorithm there, because you don't see the 500%. Obviously, there's part of the algorithm there that's gonna be like, all right, they've watched it 3 times, we're not counting anymore.
Yeah, but then that's what I was going to touch on. Is I think what's might be happening with you dudes is that you got a lot of these people commenting on yours, and maybe it's with it's playing through, they stop halfway through the third or fourth one, and that's why your view percentage is down.
My highest watched video has a 71% average view rate.
I got back to, I was getting
How many comments does it have, though?
Comments. Let's go back over here. She is up to a strong 2,200.
Jesus, that is a ton of comments.
Yeah. So, like you said, while someone's typing in that comment, that video is continuing to play. But when they're done the comment, they shut her down, right?
6 million views.
Right.
How many likes does it have?
Why does it not show me that? One second, I gotta go back to the other view.
This is your top video?
Shows me that over here. Yeah, comments. Sorry, 2,900 comments. It doesn't show me likes. It just says, 251,000 likes.
Oof.
Yeah, see, I've been meaning to figure out a way to correlate likes and views. So
here's the thing about all my videos. All my videos will always get above 1,000 likes, regardless of how many views it gets. If it gets 20,000 views, it'll still get 1,000 likes. So that doesn't mean a whole lot, but I don't have anything lower than a 98.4% like ratio either.
See, now, I've got tons lower than that because I'll get ones where I only get 19 thumbs up and I'll get 1 thumb down and it's like 80% or whatever.
Well, that's because he takes down all the ones that get.
Yeah,
he does
burn
do
those
that.
ones.
So here you go, dudes. I've got my big one with a 1.42 million and it has 131.5% view percentage on the little dozer.
And see, that one's great because somebody is just watching that and watching it. There's no real content to be absorbed. There's no stopping point. They could get just stuck watching it in a loop and not even realize.
That happened to me when I watched that little dozer video. I watched that a few times. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? It's just moving.
Yes.
And see, I wonder. So, and that's the thing. I get a lot of people, and I think the same thing, that would be doing that. What the hell is going on here? Why did I just watch that? And then I go, this thing has 1.4 million views, and it has 2.1 thousand subscribers.
What is its like ratio?
So what'd you say? How many views?
Ratio. It has 1.4.
So 1.4. So
what percent like versus this one?
I'll blow that one right out of the water.
So its like percentage is 93%, 21,000 likes.
That's pretty good.
So I have a 1.2. I have a 1.2 million views. So that's relative to your 1.4.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
it has
we talked about that. The subscribe to view ratio has to do with the person. That's a ratio that's.
So this shows that ratio. So there's a video that no one has to subscribe to you because it doesn't emphasize you in that video. It's just a video.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Anybody could have put that video out. Has no relevance to the creator.
Yes.
So I have 45,000 likes on a 1.2 million.
Yeah.
You're at 1.4.
Yep. And I had, what did I say? 21. So that's twice as many thumbs up on that.
And subscribers, I have 2,800 subscribers. So that shows their subscribers aren't that far off.
No. So that actually is pretty close, actually.
Yep.
Huh.
So that just proves you're not getting more subscribers because you're getting more likes.
All right. I'm way behind on comments. Oh, my Lord. What happened here? Dudes, you can run comments too, right?
Oh, I was off getting a drink.
I was late. I got the drink. Wait.
Hey, Becky, I watch other people, and I watch it more for the style of the video and to get video editing.
I do that a lot.
Here becomes the problem as a creator. You lose the ability to watch YouTube and absorb content anymore like a regular viewer because you're always looking at like, why are they doing it that way? What are they doing over here? I like how they did that. You get absorbed into the creator side of it once you become a creator.
You become critical too because you're like, every time I find like a big YouTuber that has a little mistake in their video, they're like, oh, I saw it. I got it. Yeah, I
2 million views.
I was warned. I was warned about that a long time ago when I took my 3D art and animation. That when you start watching animated series after this, you're gonna pick it apart, and don't
learn to paint. You'll hate every artist from there forward.
Yeah. So, but you can also teach yourself not to do that. sometimes. There's some stuff that's just too blatantly, oh, okay, that's awful, and you just can't let it go. But for the most part, I've learned to tune a lot of it out and just enjoy the content again. But it took some practice.
Yeah, this one. I thought the thumbs up don't matter. See, that's the trick. They say good videos find their way to the top of the peak, but then no one really knows how to tell. And like Dudes was saying, is it watch percentage? Because I've got videos that are watch percentage through the roof, but they don't get the views. I don't know. I found at this point, and like we talked earlier, I put up videos of stuff I'm doing, and I do dumb shit that some people like to watch. You know what I mean? And then with the writing stuff is cool because I go to places that not a lot of people will ever get to go see. I mean, the chances of Brent ever going and seeing some of the places that you've watched me take you in these videos is pretty much non-existent. You're never going to come down to Grants Pass, Oregon in the middle of nowhere and freaking run off into the woods somewhere and stumble upon this view.
Well, true, but I do at some point plan to come on down and visit you.
Yes. Yes.
On a regular basis, no, I'm not going to be down there to do.
Yeah, because do I'll take you there personally. Run you out there, scare the crap at you. I just edited a video today. I was taking my mom up and we popped a tire. It's so funny because we hit it. And I'm like, yep, I think I popped that tire. And then we just keep on riding for a while until I'm like, yep, that's definitely flat.
Oh, he's got food again.
Oh yeah, don't you have to go, dudes? You said you can only be on for an hour.
Yeah. You know what I miss? I miss the days of him in the garage setting his styrofoam on top of his heater.
Oh yeah. To heat his fried rice. That would just melt.
Rice. Yeah. I miss those days. That was good stuff.
That was a good days.
That and the only thing that's similar, of course, is CP setting himself on fire. That was
less than fortunate. We've got a real wood burning stove somewhere back over here behind me. If I move, does a good job.
I like that stove. That's a sweet stove.
It's a little quirky. It has its nuances, but she'll put the heat on if you get her going.
Oh yeah, you stoke the fire in those things, they'll crank it out. Especially if you're going to get a small space.
Let's see here.
You might be onto something there. Yeah.
Oh man.
Could be the death water.
All right, I gotta jump up into here, try and get going on the comments. Well, you seem to be driving the conversation tonight, Mongrels. Where are we going next? I'm digging you just kind of steering us along here. And actually, if we could just get someone to handle these comments, that's the hard part. People are commenting. I know they're talking to each other, and I want to put them up in the deal. But then we're on tangents too, so it's like, I don't want to interrupt somebody when they're talking.
Well, that's what you do. We have our stuff that we can talk about, and we run out of material to talk about. We just look over the comments, and they got their own material to talk about. And there you go, right?
Take notes. See, right, Becky? I love the out of context because I know this is from a conversation we were doing later, and now I'm back onto it. And I've almost forgotten that conversation from literally 5 minutes ago.
Well, we started this with the bad. What are our bad decisions that we're doing recently?
Oh, our current poor financial decisions. Yeah.
Because there's always one. Because I sit there with myself and I'm going, you got how many projects you got to get done? And then I'm still going through Kijiji, eBay classifieds for you guys. And I'm going through, Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, whoa, any good deals out there? Why am I even looking? Because that's part of the addiction. That's why you enjoy that.
3 likes on TikTok. I'm glad for you, Corey, but fuck TikTok. I'm sorry.
I would like to speak on this. I stopped looking. This year was supposed to be the year I didn't buy anything. I broke it already.
You didn't even make it into January.
I made it. What are you talking about?
No, you won that auction on that Oldsmobile. That counts. Even though they didn't actually give it to you, you won it. So you bought that.
The Buick,
whatever it was.
It's true. I did buy it. They just wouldn't. My money didn't meet the reserve.
And you did that like 3 days into the New Year's. You don't get to say.
I remember that statement that my New Year's resolution is.
Always is.
And I laughed.
I'm not buying any more cars this year. Not doing
Oh man.
It's like, yeah, you're like the rest. You'll buy something.
Yeah, I almost bought a Mercedes R500 the other day. I'm glad I didn't. But
Yeah,
it was so misrepresented. It was really sad.
Mercedes is one of those vehicles that I really like them when they're new and you've got money. After that,
Well, this one was $1,000, and
Yep.
what they said about it was they stopped driving it during the pandemic, and they stopped driving during the pandemic, and now it won't start. So I'm thinking
How fast, sorry, brother.
$1,000
Missed you.
needs a
Thank
fuel
you.
pump. Could go.
it could
But
be
no,
something like that. Yeah.
that wasn't the case. I got there to look at it. It was last tagged in 2016, so a good 4 years before the pandemic. 4 flat tires, no serpentine belt for some reason. There was some all of the covers for all of the fuses gone.
Okay. So someone was trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So and then there was some wiring pulled out underneath the passenger footwell. I was just like, yeah, no. But had it been exactly what they said it was, I totally would have bought it. But,
Yeah, Becky, I really appreciate the views and the hours and the comments. Becky always comments too. And Tim Windsor, man, on every that dude's thumbs have to be constantly.
He's on a lot of stuff. He's a good supporter.
That dude is
of a lot of
the
channels.
best.
And
Seriously.
Fox Can Fix It is in here too. He's another one.
Fox is in these ones all the time too, but I don't think I've seen Tim that tonight. Fox is on the lives. I like at late nights when there's only a couple people in here. We're doing something like those welding videos, whatever it was. Fox is just in there, just hitting the zingers when he's at work and whatnot. Is that pizza? What do you got there?
Looks like pizza. Is that stuffed crust pizza? Because I wouldn't think you would ever eat stuffed crust pizza again. Well, maybe not from a certain.
Not from that place.
We don't do moldy cheese sticks in this house anymore.
You want another one?
A little penicillin, man. I'm all saying.
Well, now here's the problem though. Cheese mold is okay. Bread mold is not.
Catch up on text, yeah.
I'm gonna pass on both.
Yeah, well, yeah, me too. But I'm just saying one's actually not as bad as the other.
On relative badness, I'll take neither.
Yeah.
Damn regular job, yeah. We were talking about it, but no one's committing to anything.
I committed. I paid.
You did commit. You paid the fee.
Yes.
Oh, that's a bold move.
It's non-refundable.
Well,
I did that last year.
It's to me, it's one of those things where even if I don't make it, then at least I'm supporting the event. So
I felt that way last year. This year, I will just pay the day of. I'm not worried about it selling out.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Because I bought in last year to help early and thought that maybe this could snowball into a thing where there might be not a lot of room, and it didn't go into that. But my money went to starting a thing that I think is going to be a cool thing. And in a couple, nothing starts out being the coolest thing you've ever done.
It was a cool thing, though. It was a fantastic thing.
And it's going to get better every year, I think, the more effort and time people put into it.
I think it will, but there's always the danger of it getting too big and then not being better, because that's part of I think the charm of it. And it's one of those things where you go in kind of cautious about it, because right now it's a small thing, relatively small. You go in and you meet everyone and you just have a good time and you get to know a lot of people and everyone's kind of on the same page. Yeah. See, I never even started the app.
I only got it because somebody freaking was like, oh, hey, I just got this TikTok thing and I got 1 million views today. It's so easy. You got to just do it. It's stupid. You're dumb not to do it. And I put up 3 videos and 3 people watched them, and it's like, huh, that's weird.
But then TikTok is like crack cocaine, and they give you the little bit for free, and then they expect you to work for the rest. And I ain't working for TikTok money that doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's
actually.
That's the thing about all the different platforms. They don't have any real standards like YouTube does. Like YouTube says, you do this, you get this.
It's true.
True.
But then they say you do this, you do this, but then we'll tell you when you did that.
Yeah. And then we'll also offer it, if you pay us just a little bit of your money, we'll promote your actual content. What? No, TikTok. No, thank you.
Well, but YouTube's starting to do that now.
They
too.
are totally doing that.
I sent you the Spiffing Brit did I don't know if you guys know who the Spiffing Brit is, but he's a guy who plays video games and he finds exploits in video games to basically win or ruin or the game or whatever, essentially. And so he ran a deal where he paid for ads on videos that were paid promotions. So somebody paid him to promote it, and then he paid YouTube to promote it as a get-rich scheme type thing. And he tried a few different things, which is pretty funny. It's all well within the rules, and spoiler alert, they don't really work.
Yeah, he did make slightly more than what he spent, but it wasn't really worth the make.
Yeah, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze in the end. There was a lot of shit, and I'm sure YouTube has actually made it to where you can't do that exploit anymore.
Well, YouTube has made it so you can't do a lot of things anymore.
Well, there was an exploit on it, so you can't promote a live video, because I didn't realize that most times your live video CPM is better, or RPM, dudes. You remember which one it was? One of those is better on the lives than it is on normal content, apparently. And what he found is the reason for that is once he started advertising it, that number fell through the floor, because that has to do with how long people watch the actual video. And normally live streams, people tune in and they watch for a concurrent amount of time, your total time on a video, viewed percentage, essentially, which actually brings us to some of the things we were talking.
Podcasts.
Exactly.
That's their new thing.
Because of that, because he got paid more per view, essentially, on the live, made it to where they promoted the live, and then that essentially made the pay-per-view come down because he got more views, but then it tanked the average because he essentially toyed with it.
Okay, so what do we feel about YouTube's new standards policy?
I haven't read into it, but are you talking about the cussing?
Well, the cussing and dangerous stunts and stuff like that.
I haven't looked into the dangerous stunts part. What are they considering dangerous stunts?
Well, that's part of it, right? What do you consider a dangerous thing, or like, is an accidental thing a dangerous thing, and you're not allowed to show that, or because you
so me personally, me driving my four-wheeler or my side-by-side through the woods at speeds that may or may not be, I mean, there's no speed limit out there. At what point does that become dangerous in a level that YouTube's not willing to sign off on?
I would think they're more worried about you promoting it, saying, hey, come on, let's do 80 miles an hour in the woods and hit some trees. That's what they don't want you to.
Okay. And
which I'm definitely not saying that.
I understand some of it, because you got like people that took it maybe to a little too much of an extreme, like jumping out of an airplane and then letting the airplane crash, stuff like that. That, sure, I can understand why they may not want to promote something like that, but at the same time,
well, I guess I see what your point is, where they can change that definition. Well, it's like curse words. They just did away with the definition between the 7 you can't say on TV and then everything else. It's now no, but damn is okay, right? There were 2 that got off the list, and then everything else went on to the really naughty list.
But
I want to say damn and something else was another.
And even as someone whose channel I don't do that anyways, I was never one of those channels that used a lot of curse words or anything like that. And it's one of those things where I do have a problem with it, because if I happen to want to watch that personality, whether they curse or not.
Okay, so what you're saying is when I want to go watch Zip Ties with Bias Plies, I don't want to hear a bunch of freaking beeping every time when I decide that's my itch I want to scratch.
And the simple part of it is if the advertisers don't want to advertise on that channel, then that's their right to not advertise on that channel.
Yeah.
So why really even have that?
Well, because YouTube doesn't want to do the work of picking and choosing who's. Oh, bye, Becky. Appreciate it. You have a good night.
Thanks for joining us.
8 grand. Wow. There's a lot of kids running around. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's its own ecosystem, its own ways to take advantage of things, and it's like the whole music's now 45% royalties, and then the way they pay people off the royalties, they pay out of this fund and then this fund and then that one. It's great. Oh,
there's a perfect example down there.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and gun channels get really good views and really good subs, but they don't get any money for it. So,
well, and that's the best part. YouTube is selling gun stuff on those videos. They are doing ads for gun things on those videos. They are making.
Let's not talk about what month it is.
Oh, don't even. Nope. Don't stop.
Go there.
No, stop.
So you know what I thought. Speaking of shorts and the music on the background, I thought for sure that I wasn't going to get anything for those shorts that had somebody's music on in the background.
No, you totally do.
I changed my shorts style to where I talked and just had some free music on it, which went over like a lead balloon. It was terrible. Nobody watched those videos. But no, it turns out that all of them.
Not everyone can recreate the dudes with wrenches over there.
All those shorts that I had that I've done with all music on the background, I'm getting paid for all of them. So tune in.
Well, the interesting thing about that is that
at 45% instead of 50%, and instead of the 55% that we get on long form stuff, and that's all how they move things around to make it work for themselves.
Right, but the thing is my shorts where I use their music get a crap ton more views than the ones where I don't.
So you think it's because you're using their music, they're pushing their music type of thing?
Right. So I actually make more. Off it by using their music instead of not using music.
I mean, they get to keep more of the pie. They're going to send out more of the pie.
I don't.
Right, but I don't
know. No, the way they did it, you knew but that makes the question: is it the music that is pulling your videos along? Like, what's the thing that drags your video into the? That's
what it is.
Yeah, because the way they set it up is they get their money both ways. They take the music money comes out at the beginning, and then they pile everyone's money together, and then you get 50% or 45% of what's left, depending on how much they had to give to the music people.
Right.
YouTube is still getting the same amount of money. Everyone else is just getting less. Dudes and I have talked about this. They structured it that way on purpose.
I wasn't getting money off them before. Now I am.
True. That is, but you wouldn't be getting anything if you weren't monetized for your long format videos because you don't meet the requirements.
Well, yes, but I'm monetized.
Yes.
Well, I had something interesting happen on my latest short, and I used the YouTube music, and I still got a copyright claim, but it says it does not affect your short.
That might be part of the. Have you seen the new music beta system that's just coming out? Have you been opted into that yet?
No, I don't. Well, I don't know. I don't pay that much of attention, honestly,
what's up, brother? How you doing?
Whether I'm in it or not. But the simple fact of the matter is it could be because of how I titled the video too. Because I put eastbound and down ? And then I used the music. But
how did you add the music to it?
Is this on a short or a long form?
Yeah, it's on a short.
Okay.
So
I add the music through the short. Through the shorts editor, you got it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And it still gave me. It said
Fox,
it says copyright claim. this does not affect your short.
Well, so I know when they switched everything over, there was some shorts things that were figuring themselves out. They've redone the music thing now to where you can put real music. You can buy licenses through YouTube now to put real music in your long form video, just the same way you do it in your short form videos now. It's a thing they've worked on. So they've now worked another way to get now even more pieces of the pie.
Yeah, here's. I don't know if there's anything.
Watch what you put up there, bud.
It's a stupid thing.
Oh yeah, she's washed. Oh,
see.
Oh, I've never seen it say that there.
Yeah, that's weird.
Okay, that's
and then
new.
when I click on it, what did it say?
Those are dudes with wrenches numbers right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll try to get the washing out of it again. See, so you see their copyright protected content found, but does not affect your short.
So the video you're using is your own video, right?
Yep.
Okay. Because their little bot will say that you're copywriting someone else's information, because I can look at all copyright claims it says are copyright claims for my channel.
Right. So it was kind of interesting to me that so I wasn't sure, should I take this down? Do I leave it up? In the end, I decided to leave it up and see what happens.
I had that happen one time, and what I did was
You can always go fight it.
And then did the exact same thing, and there was no copyright claim.
Well, I don't see the point of fighting it when they have that statement that says doesn't affect your video. I'm like, okay, why fight it then?
Well, is there a revenue amount on that video? Well, you're not monetized yet.
I'm not even monetized.
So it's probably why it says it doesn't matter, because you're not monetized.
Could be. So I decided, well, I'll just leave it. I'll see what happens, because I just found it interesting because everything I did was in the short editor. It was so the only thing I could think of maybe why it might be copyrighted is because of the title. Maybe it doesn't, like the title of the video matches the title of the song.
I wouldn't think so.
So, but I just found it interesting. Like, I've never seen that.
You could change the title and see if that changes it.
Well, I might.
But if you think about it, they copyrighted titles. Nobody could use the same title, and that wouldn't make any sense.
It would be such a muddy water for copyright for titles. Oh my Lord. Well, although I just did a video with 2 brand name things in the title, essentially, and I haven't had any issues or anything with that.
Yeah, because that means if you use somebody's name, say Matco Tools, and Matco Tools wanted to pull trademark on the name or copyright, then you'd have to take that video down, or they'd have to demand monetization.
Anyone that reviews tools or freaking
you're done. Yeah. Well, well, not only that, it's just even with our channels where we're working on our cars, we don't black out the emblems.
Oh, yeah. And all movies do.
Well, so in the movies, I think they do that so they can preserve the fact that they can sell the ad space. Not just anyone can get.
I don't think it's so much the car company going after them as much as they're saying, you're going to pay us to have that emblem, or we're going to black them out.
Well, BS Build is a good example on this one. He blacked out all of the Miller emblems on all of their Miller equipment because Miller didn't want to work with him for the longest time. But he's like, I like Miller shit, so I'm going to use their stuff. And then one day, finally, Miller was like, okay, you're big enough, we'll work with you. And he basically got a new welder and then like pulled the tape off of the Miller emblem on the old one that they've been using. You know?
Yeah. God, this video did bad today.
Damn, I got up to grab something and now I don't remember what it was.
I got 5 subscribers today. Whoop.
I do this cool thing where I have a day where it gets like a lot of subscribers. I mean,
that's a hot day for me.
Yeah, a 20 day is a big day, and then the next day after a 20 day, it's like you get 2. Yeah, and I'm on one of those day afters.
So you get nothing. Yeah.
It's like, hey, YouTube's like, hey, you got a lot of subscribers yesterday, so today you get
today. So for the next 2 weeks, you get none.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got them all too much, and from our records show that you suck, and you're not allowed to have that.
Yeah, so. You can't have that. My biggest problem right now is I've got the Mach 1 in the garage, and most of my content All right, see you, Fox.
See you
Most
later,
of
Fox.
my
Fox.
content on it, I'm waiting for parts, so I can't complete any videos.
Yeah.
Well, I got to get out there and I got to figure out another way to make videos because I haven't put anything out in a long time, and
Yep.
and it's kind of frustrating. It could just keep in these little
Is he picking
roadblocks.
up for you guys, or is it just me?
Here's what you do, mongrels. You start at the front of the car and you record vertical, and you just walk to the back, and you do that in 15 seconds. Then you add some music to it and post it, and subscribers.
Yeah, I suppose.
It works.
Seriously though.
Oh, it'll work. I know that.
I mean,
Nice hair.
it works. I do it all the time.
Yeah, but that's. I know we were having this talk earlier about how-tos versus other content, and I don't fully buy into that. The how-tos don't do well. I think it's really dependent upon.
Oh, some how-tos do great. My best
even on the older cars, they do very well. They've got lots of views.
So you're going to do views, and the views you get are going to be most likely somebody's going to watch for an extended period of that video. They're there to see something about that thing. The problem is you're not going to see a lot of people that subscribe in that.
No, I will agree with that statement. Yeah, but I find that a lot of those how-to videos do have a lot of views, and I even have some how-to videos that do have a lot of views. Now, granted, they are. Oh, see you, Corey.
Corey, have a good one, brother.
They are how-tos on a Hemi swap, so it is rather. But I also have the other one that does quite well. Is can we get 400 horsepower out of a 302 Ford?
The big question is, do you have your 4,000 hours?
No, I don't. So it's really.
It doesn't matter.
I need to get the view times up, anyways.
Yeah. My problem.
I just keep begging for those hours.
The reason I went nuts doing the shorts was because I was at 300 and something subscribers and over 4,000 hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so for every day that I'm under 1,000 subscribers, I'm losing money.
Yeah. Well, I didn't start my channel, and I still don't work on my channel for money.
Oh, well, me either, but if it's there,
I just put up what I want to put up.
Yes, but at the end of the day, YouTube is making money off of your content if you're
they are.
any real content.
But
I mean,
to me,
it's pennies.
whatever.
I mean, Becky talked about this the other day, but I mean, from shorts, they made from what they're paying me now for shorts, they made like almost probably $100 probably off of me this last year on shorts. And I want some of that.
the thing that does annoy me is that they put commercials on my stuff.
Yep.
When I'm not monetized, that does annoy me.
That's a new thing as of like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's 2 years ago they started doing that. And if they're not going to compensate you for that, then they shouldn't be doing that. Is because you're still trying to build your channel, and as a viewer, a commercial will deter me from some videos.
The Matrix doesn't care what the machines the Matrix want. You know what I mean?
I get that. I know that, but what I'm saying is, like, as if I'm watching a video and I'm kind of like, this is okay, but it's all of a sudden, I gotta sit through a 30-second commercial. Forget it. I'm done with this one.
Well, and so you have a lot of control with that so YouTube, like, okay, the video I just put out Friday was a video I did last minute because I'd thrown it up, and I didn't check to see what YouTube had decided to put the different video ads in.
I don't have any control over that, though.
Well, you don't yet, which that sucks on there. YouTube decided that they're just going to put one at the very end, or they decide where they put them, and sometimes there's why there. So it's like I've heard people say where you don't want to go in and add or move things around, but I think you do need to put some insight into there and be like, yeah, I do want these ads where they are. But you don't have that yet because you're not in the site. I think that's where the part you got to throw some. Well, you got to figure out what you want to do, man. If you're just playing, you don't care.
Well, I'm just playing. So to me, it doesn't. If it's just a bonus, if I do get to the monetization point, that's just a bonus for me. right now I'm just putting content out because I like to. There's days I like to do it, days I don't like to do it, just like all of us, because it's a lot of work. Anyone that does this knows it's a lot of work. And that guy right down there knows it's probably a lot more work for him than it is for any of us.
Midnight too, the production that goes into setting up and being able to shoot things that don't. Well, both of you, I think, have a good content of things that don't make it to the cutting room floor stuff that you shoot that doesn't actually make it into videos. I love the opposite. If I shoot it, it's going out. It may be an inferior product, but that's what we made, and that's what
I've got to see. And that's where I've done that route where I just let the camera go, and it's a little harder because I'm using this and it only has so much memory.
Yeah.
But then I can't stand the editing side of that. If just going through all that footage. So that's where I've set up my shots. I take a little bit of time. I plan out what I'm doing. And
I've seen it. You turn the whole thing on. You walk into the room, you go, you figure out what you want to do, you set the shot, and then you go, and then you turn it, you turn on and go into. I being in the background, be like, oh, Mongrels is here, and you're on your thing, you're doing your deal, and it's like, oh, okay, we're here now.
So, I set it up. I might do 1 or 2 takes of it, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10, but and then that's it. I have what I want. And a little bit extra on either side, so I got some room to cut it up and edit it, and then I go through and I edit it that way. And I'll spend a little time playing with some of the fancier tools in the editor, or just playing around with the different shots and moving the screen. Like I'll do little tricks like that, where if it's a still shot, I'll have a slow pan in or something like that, or slow crawl.
I need to learn to do some of that stuff with the camera, and like as far as post the zoom effect thing, I've never really played with that.
But the big thing is, and this is where a lot of people, including dudes, has this down pat, is the pacing. That's
I think goes into where you guys think about how you're going to. I think all three of you think about how you're going to make a video before you go do the thing, whereas I am completely the opposite, of where I do the thing and I try to figure out how I'm going to film it. While I do a lot of things that I party live and do it live. You say there's a lot of ones where you thought about how you were going to set it up.
Well, here comes the point.
He's going to show us why he does that now, because I'm with it. I see. There's things that make it into it. I fight a constant battle of me, the editor, being mad at me, the filmer.
Yeah, I've had some of that.
Yeah, for sure.
I purposely left the vice loose so people would make that comment.
Yeah, I've done stuff like that too.
Yeah. So you think about those type of things where if I don't listen, I just don't.
Every video I make, I leave something in there that I'm going to say, I'm going to wait for this person to make the comment. But there will always be at least 1 or 5 that catch on or like, oh, I saw that. And it's like, oh, why do you do it that way? So that you would comment on it.
I go out of my way to avoid that. I mean, I go out of my way to make sure that there's nothing in my video where somebody can say, you dumbass, why did you do that?
You don't want to deal with I'm the same way. I do not want to deal with
them. But it gets you all those people that just want to come in here and stare at it 5 times going, I hate this guy.
You're right.
And sometimes you need
those people. There's a reason why one of us in this room has 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah. And exactly. And he's right. I've done that as well. We've talked about this before.
It's not worth it to me.
But on my Trans Am video, for example, I said screaming eagle instead of screaming chicken, waiting for someone to put that comment in. And sure enough, there it was, right? You always
that comes back to is it are comments good, or a lot of comments good for your video? So can you go back to that one that was 1.2 or 1.4?
But what'll happen with a lot of those comments or the trolls, they come in, your fans will attack the troll.
Oh yeah.
And then it just
yes and no.
Because here's the fun part.
No.
Here's the fun part. You'll always have the trolls and the troll defenders But then the troll defenders, they like to watch videos every day. And the troll, they don't like to be attacked. So they'll wait 4, 5, 6 days. And then they'll come in on the back videos. And then they'll just troll because they know there's nobody that's rewatching to catch them trolling. And that's the best part. It's like, you're such a troll that you can't even troll on today's video. You have to troll on 4 days ago's video to make sure that no one hacks you down.
He's just that type of troll. There's so many different types of trolls.
They don't want to be challenged. You know,
so my biggest video, my 1.4 million video, has 400 comments on it.
Oh.
My other one that has 1.2 million has, hold on for it, drum roll please, a total of 23 on 1.2 million
23.
views. So I'm not mad about it. And this is why I don't know that comments really equate into a bunch of views in that metric.
No, they don't. I don't think they do.
No, I don't think they do, but they do. They do translate into channel activity.
Have comments that are sub comments of sub comments that I can't even read. YouTube doesn't even let me see them.
And there's a reason for that, probably. And is that what you want? Is that what you want in your chats? Do you want that cesspool just breeding under the surface down there of comment trollery or whatever? You know I'm perfectly okay with not having a ton of shitty comments.
I used to love Yahoo for the simple
Messenger?
fact.
You talking about Messenger? Like,
yes. Well, for the simple fact that I could go into the Yahoo articles and read the comments.
Yep. I love reading comments. That's why I have Twitter.
And I loved reading the comments. I didn't care about the article. I wanted to see the troll say something and then watch everyone jump on the troll and then watch the battle go back and forth.
Hey, Jesse.
I would sit there and laugh my butt off at some of the stuff that would come up in those. And so, yes, I actually would like to have some of that in.
Well, the problem is that those anything like that becomes its own thing where it takes on its own fucking narrative. There are people that went on there just to do the thing you're talking about, and it takes away from the thing of what it was when it started, like anything else.
Yeah, I could, but
I cannot stand comments on news articles. Oh, they're the worst.
It's gone into its own thing.
If you ever want to just really dive into the trolliest trolls on the internet, the YouTube actually lets survive. And it's the biggest one on YouTube to me that I have personally found where I'm just like, YouTube gave up. YouTube gave up and said, troll whatever you want to troll because we're not even going to censor this stuff. And that's, you go find the actual names, I think it's like Red Dog and some crap of the Island Boys. The Island Boys. You go to their actual YouTube channel, the amount of people that hate them. Ridiculous. And the comments that get left in their comments, the fact that YouTube even lets their comments be a thing is
just turned that off. Like, no, we're not even going to let that happen. You guys are idiots.
Like, you can think, YouTube censoring stuff. Not over there.
I wonder, those guys' career is dead, right? It's over, right?
I haven't heard much from those guys, but you know who's actually going back a bit, who's really good at putting like exactly what Dudes does is put some comment out there that's going to get a reaction is
Kodiak Red.
Those goon squad guys.
Yeah, and you can tell they're building that into the film. You can see.
Oh yeah, you can totally see that they're doing that.
Yep. They
do it constantly, and it's like, oh my god, what are you guys thinking? But obviously, they're not that.
No, they are thinking. That's the point.
They're thinking.
This is going to gain a reaction, and reaction equals everything.
Yeah. Because
here's the best part.
I feel like those guys went down and did a lot of the things in that time frame that everyone says you're supposed to do, and then it actually worked.
So you can compare this to all the different people that have done it, but you have the people that just put in enough stuff to get the hate, to get the ridiculous remarks, and then you have the people that defend them. So you're going to have two groups of people that are now going to overanalyze, overwatch, rewatch a video to try to say what they want to say against this group. And the whole time, the group that it's being said against or defended, they're just getting views. And that's all they cared about anyway.
And they moved on. And you can tell that's what they do because they never respond to comments.
No.
Well, so at the end of the day, there is a set of trolls are going to troll. You know what I mean? At that point, and then listen, the whole what is a troll and who is a troll skews back and forth so quickly sometimes because I've been on the other end of like you're a troll, and I'm like, am I though? What did I do? What did I even do to be trolly on that one? Then I'm like, was it? I don't think so, but whatever. Who knows?
All right, here we go.
Oh, you have some gems.
Oh, here we go.
No, this is Kodiak Red.
Oh,
okay.
This is one of the Island Boys.
My eyes are so
that
bad.
dude's name?
Oh, his name is Kodiak Red. That is his rap name. Yes.
Okay.
You guys are so brave. Don't give up. Whatever disease you have, you can beat it.
Oh God, that's good.
Okay,
Yo.
we just found our new live dude reading comments.
Oh.
Make sure this is playing at my funeral so everybody will be jealous of me being the one in the casket.
Out of here.
That is cool.
Oh no. These aren't bad though. They're not cussing. Like these are they're hurtful. They're hurtful, but I can see why they're getting around the algorithm that's supposed to stop.
It's really heartwarming to watch them enjoy their lives. Remember, they're either mental or physically disabled. It's not something you should be ashamed of.
That this has come down to this whole like let's kill them with kindness, like douchery.
Then you got the legitimate kind one, bro. This freestyle was fire. Can't wait for it to get dubbed in English.
Thanks, Island Boys, for cheering me up. I was hitting rock bottom, but seeing your performance, I see there is still a lot lower I can go.
Okay, we can do this all night, man.
Wow.
I put this song as my alarm every morning. Ever since then, I've been waking up 30 minutes early so that I could turn it off before it even starts.
You really broke character on that one. I'm a little disappointed in you.
The best part about this song is that it ends.
We broke him. We broke these with wrenches.
Then the comment itself.
Oh my God. I think it's the first time out of all the bullshit we've done where he couldn't hold it together for the gag. Oh.
I honestly didn't think diarrhea could make noise, but it can.
It doesn't make sense. Obviously, diarrhea makes noise. Everyone knows
Diarrhea
that.
makes a lot of
There's
noise.
a lot of noises. There's a lot of noises that can be encompassed into that.
And it's
1,000 years from now, someone will dig this shit up and fully understand why our civilization collapsed.
I mean, honestly, break that sentence down for a minute. He's not wrong.
It's that hard truth. Like, oh no.
Like seriously, if that's the thing you find, like you have no context and you just pull up that like the Island Boys doing what is it, a Ford Boy or what was Mustang Boy, and that's the thing. You're intelligent life form from space, and that's the thing you find. Like, oh, turn around.
Are you gonna read Steven Seagal there?
The first human in history that speaks doctor's handwriting. Nice.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Okay.
Whenever things feel so hopeless and I don't have the courage to follow through, I put this song on and it gives me the strength to kick the stool out from under myself.
Oh no. You can't wait. That one probably shouldn't have made it past the show.
It has 443 thumbs up.
Oh no. Look, I feel like I shouldn't.
There's
you
replies.
You have to, yeah.
Bruh.
Bruh.
That escalated quickly. Guys, why is he? Why is Shelly hanging around the bar? I don't know. Wait, what? Horrible pun. I got that was a pun. You didn't know there was a bar. Bit come from, I don't know. These people get really weird.
Yeah, I got kind of off the rails.
Everyone has a hidden talent. Shit. You deserve to stay hidden.
Oh my. Oh, we could make a whole show out of this, man.
When I die, please play this loudly, constantly for 3 hours. I'm not irritated, and gets up, and I'm what? If I'm not irritated, get
gets
up,
up.
then I'm not really dead.
Okay.
That's not really funny. Most toddlers struggle to speak a single word. These two are forming entire chains of sound. I genuinely like it. The improvisation of lines, some possibly rehashed to fall back on, it makes it feel real as they begin in the moment, yet also alluding to a history we do not see here. The hairstyle that are daring out of light field, yet somewhat based on both their local culture and environment, as it almost mimics Caribbean plants, but also I don't know, some hairdos and some popular culture today and further down in history. The famished bodies that are still strong, referencing their difficult life and their resilience to not only having overcome it, but being stronger because of it. The voices that may not be trained, but are obviously quite bright with a possibility of high range, beautiful, clear tone. The emotion is somewhat
desperate. I think that's supposed to be desperate.
Yeah, desperate, triumphant as they achieve greatness, but are afraid of it. I like the tattoos. Oh, there's so much here. Let's just go straight to replies. I am crying. What a great read. Family, bro. You know what's up. Because I'm an island boy. Keep on trying to make it. There's like actual people that support them. I'm not sure though. Like it's hit and miss.
Well, what's the one about my loving wife of 3 years? I don't know. Don't read that one.
Thank you, Island Boys. My loving wife of 3 years didn't get to. Oh no, we can't read that one.
No, don't read that one.
That's one that YouTube should not allow to have on.
No.
When the world needed someone to hate more than COVID, you boys stepped in. Dude, boy. What a talent. It should be kept hidden from the world. It just goes on. And the worst part is, like, here's the best part. You can go all the way to the top of this thing, and you can look at, like, I gotta keep scrolling. So there is 42,409 comments here.
But look at the views.
Oh, yeah. They're making so much money from being hated.
They don't have to do anything.
Yeah, it's Fly Soldier and Kodiak Red is their names.
Wow.
Fly Soldier and Kodiak Red. And they're criminals. Like, they are literal criminals. I wasted enough time to dive down that rabbit hole and realized they have a true backstory of just being worthless human beings.
No kidding.
Yep.
Oh, boy. That doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
There's nothing like pure, undeniable talent. And this is nothing like... Totally felt putting on the vest line. I do that too every morning. Keep it, gents.
But you know what? This is what also makes like the critical drinker so entertaining. It's just the way he's able to express himself when he's reviewing movies and shows, and the way he strings the comments together.
Yes, sir. Troll bar, troll grain, bread, troll grain, bread, troll. All right, straight 6, 8. God dang it. What's going on over in these comments, Brian? We lost Brian. He's gone.
He's gone. Maybe he went for a bathroom break.
How you doing, man?
Straight 6 fan, right? Oh, he was on Pontiac Power Hour the other day.
But it's a perfect example.
My dad came through. I was talking with him for a little bit.
At any time that you think, oh man, I need to not lean into some of the hate, and then you realize the Island Boys exist, and they have done nothing but lean into the hate. That is their entire career. Like, they can legitimately act like they're rappers somewhere in the world, because in their head maybe they think that. But the realization is they have made a lot of money off people not liking them.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
I mean,
they do a lot of appearances too. A lot of paid appearances.
Yep.
Well, and some of it, it's just everything about their persona.
Yep.
You know, it's when they start singing about the Mustang, and we're all sitting there. Oh, please don't do it, Pontiac.
I'm not saying you should, because you'll just be part of the other 22 million.
Was so ready for them to do one for Chevys, and he was so upset that they got away from it or whatever. They did like AMG or something. He was so pissed. He was waiting for it.
Remember that?
Oh, I was actually I was waiting for it to happen. In fact, we need to talk to him and find out what he had, because he had it. He was waiting. And they never. They let him down.
That's like a double troll, because I think all the Mustang people were waiting for that, and it didn't happen.
Yeah,
oh, true.
You know, that wasn't even their actual YouTube page. Huh.
What? That was just some random other thing that wasn't their actual YouTube.
That was someone else posted their video.
The hate is so bad from a stolen video.
wow.
That seriously makes it so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, their more recent videos aren't getting any views.
No.
Well,
Like, none.
They've kind of hit their peak, and
that brings me to my question I said at the beginning. Where are these? Wonder what they're up to now.
They are at 170 million views though. But
yeah, but what does that matter if they're not doing anything?
234,000 subscribers.
Grant, appreciate
So
it,
that
brother.
View to sub ratio.
Well, no, but I mean, I feel like
look at Straight being so fancy here. The wife and I are about to pull dinner out of the oven. I mean, yeah, the oven. Like Mr. Fancy Pants up there. I'll go pull mine out of the microwave if I'm lucky. You know.
I wonder if you can go back. I'm gonna go.
Is that how that is? Is that how that is up there, Mongols?
Yeah.
I think they pulled all their old videos.
Did they?
Oh, I'm sure they have.
Oh, they totally did. They used to have this music video when they first got popular. There was a couple music videos on there. Oh, they're gone. So horribly produced rap videos. Like,
I want to talk about one thing before you really go into telling us how bad these were. I would like you to tell us why a man of your stature and abilities was doubling down on these guys. You see their old
I try to understand why things are relevant in the world and why people don't just stop watching. But just like we said before, it's a train wreck. You can't look away, and you just get involved, and you're like, why? And then you just keep watching. You're like, why am I watching this? Why is this happening? And then you're like, why do they get 22 million views a video? They don't anymore. But they are aspiring rap artists. That's why they are the way they are. And they get to be famous with zero talent, proving that you don't need talent to be famous.
Yeah, but the ironic thing is auto-tune would probably make them like
better.
Here's the thing. You can't say there's no talent there, because there was some talent in it being recorded and put out there at one point. You know what I mean? The thing that took them off. What was the thing that actually made them take off?
Island Boy. That was a TikTok. Little stupid video they did in their pool.
TikTok.
Yep, and they were already producing rap albums before that video.
Okay, so the Island Boy thing is just what got them big for that, and then everyone hated them. And they just rode the
hate.
The why?
Look at these album covers. Look at these album covers. Look at that beautifulness. Just drink it in.
Dirty word. That is some.
I mean, that's like that's notebook drawing right there or something.
What is going?
I mean,
oh my!
I will say,
this is the most I've ever seen him. But that picture right there, that dude looks fucking creepy down there.
He does, and these are album. These are album covers.
Oh wow!
We are so cool.
I just cool, man. Sure.
Oh, I think that was his actual mugshot.
I'm just saying
that is his actual mugshot there.
I'm just saying he's not going to last long.
In there. Oh, the people that protect them are well paid. That's all I'm saying.
Well, how? Because at what point they're obviously not making a lot of money anymore.
They are, because people pay them to go on shows, they pay them to speak, and they pay ridiculous amounts of money to see and go places.
That has all.
Oh, it probably definitely has.
Yeah, that money is all gone, and I'm sure they saved and prepared and are ready to move on to the next stage.
Kodiak Red, Rad for You official video.
Well, what do you think their net worth is?
Oh.
Right now?
Well, you just looked it up. So.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
Well, that's the thing. How current is that net worth?
20 mil. But they probably blew it all.
I would say they're barely worth $1 million right now.
This is last updated January 14th, 2023.
Okay. I'd say $1 million.
He froze.
Oh,
he froze.
Oh, he froze. I was like, shit, is he just pausing for effect?
No, it's a dramatic pause.
Mid reveal.
Elon is not looking good. I'm glad I didn't go.
Elon's like, we don't need you to know.
Oh, there he's back. Okay, what is it?
2 million.
2 million.
2 million.
Okay. Hey, I mean,
I feel that is way more.
Well, so here you go, right? So 2019, they were worth $10,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
2020, 100,000. 2021, 250,000. 2022, 1 million. 2023, 2 million.
So they're still growing somehow.
Yes.
So somebody's doing something with their money then. Those two idiots are freaking handling that money.
I mean, they got a mother. I mean.
All right, we're coming up on 3 hours here. I'm pretty sure dancing's the only one still here watching this rolling shit show. I want to say thank you guys for coming on. Midnight, I think this is your first real live, right?
Yeah, first live on YouTube. Yeah.
Well, now you got some internet out there. You might have to do some lives with your stuff at some point. Why don't you tell them about what you got coming up for the channel?
I got all sorts of cool things coming up. I mean, absolutely nothing.
Oh.
I mean, I have some stuff I'm working on, but I don't have anything. I don't have a lot of stuff filmed right now that I'm editing. I've got a bunch of things I want to do, but
motivation and time.
Yeah, well, it's still the middle of winter, and I don't like going out and working on cars in my cold shop. Even when I heat it up, it takes a while. It's not fun.
Yeah,
I like working on stuff when it's warmer, but I'll be out there. I've got to do I'm going to be doing a how to change a headlight on a 2021 Silverado here pretty soon. So that will probably be my next #1 video. Well, no, probably #2, right behind my #1 video, which is how to change a tire on a 2021 Silverado.
I am interested to see what the longevity is on that, as far as at what point does that car fall out of use to where the video gets less.
Or when does it come back in when people can actually afford it?
Who can actually afford it too? Yeah, true. That's another thing.
5 years from now, all of a sudden it skyrockets.
Yeah, that could also be another. There's some interesting analytics that I want somebody to remember in 5 years, and hopefully,
I would love to see from where I'm at now to where I'm at next year at this exact same time. I just want to see what the analytics do. We all know they're bull. I just want to see if there's any consistency in it long term.
Well, but there's so many. I mean, okay, I can show you what mine looked like from last year to this year, and there's so many variables that changed that it's these numbers are,
I'll tell you why that video that video is almost 30,000 views, long form, almost 30,000 views.
Wish I could get 10,000 views.
I have picked up 72 subscribers from it, and it has made me $307.48.
There you go.
That's literally how to change it.
Yeah.
I did 10
that's only 55
million views in a single month and got $250.
But that's shorts to long form. I've been telling you since we started doing this and you started getting success in short form. I even said it to Midnight, and that's where we talked back and forth. It was always if you don't have your launch hours, there's no point in doing the shorts thing to get your subscribers, because those people that you get to subscribe are not always going to help with the watching of the other things.
Yeah.
And the money, pennies to pennies, are not the same between long format and short format.
Well, the funny thing is when you watch all of the YouTube tutorials, they'll tell you always, stick in your niche and blah blah blah.
There is something to that,
bro.
because my little dozer, I got out. I somehow ended up in that little dozer niche, and then I tell you what, anything with that fucking the little dozer is hitting right now 10,000 views in the last 2 days on a video that I still don't.
But I just found with the long form stuff is I do the stuff on the newer cars just to get the hours and the views, and then I do the stuff on my old stuff because that's what I like doing.
Yeah. Well, it's keeping the hobby. You need the hobby to put a little in to help keep the hobby going. Every little bit helps.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do stuff on the new stuff anyways.
I do a lot of stuff on the new stuff, but none of it really does that good, honestly. It is what it is. I don't really do too much.
The thing that's great about that stupid change of tire video, it's not the tire that people want to know how to do. It's how to take off the jack from underneath the rear seat. It's put it in such a way that you think you're supposed to take it off with a wrench or something, but no, the bottle jack has a little thing that spins, and you just spin it and contract the jack, and then you can take it out. And when you put it back in, you just pump up the jack a little bit, and that's what holds it in. And
I do think about that a lot when I find things, and then I go Google the thing, and then I find it, and then I'm like, man, somebody should make a video about this.
If you go and Google right now how to change a spare tire on a 2021 Silverado, the very first thing you'll see is my video.
And that's where you got to get. I mean, if you're in how-tos, if you're the guy that shows up first on Google, you've made it.
Yeah, and when I go through if you look at the part, the graph of what people are viewing, that part where you take the jack out is like in 80% plus of what people are watching, and then it drops down, and that video is really cool because I get some really nice comments on that video, which I know a lot of people don't care about comments, but I get comments from women that are stuck on the side of the road and are like, oh my God, you saved my life. I didn't know how to change this tire. And I've been waiting for 4 hours for AAA to show up, and no one showed up, and now I'm just doing it myself, watching your video. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, there's some nice comments there. So that makes it worth it, because I'll usually get a nice comment on that video right after I got 20 horrible comments on something else. So
yeah, there is something to be said about a little bit of balance when it comes to comments. I have people every day. They're just like, I love your stuff. I'm glad you're here. You made my day better. Those are all great videos. And then you get the guys just like, why don't you change that intro, because it's just not working for me. And I'm gonna say that on every video until you just remove my account. It's like
that guy's completely wrong too, because it's obviously is working for you.
Yeah, and the other 30,000 people that enjoyed it that day, I don't understand those people.
Yeah, but man, sometimes one negative comment is it'll ruin your day.
Well, it's not that it's not working for you; it's not working for them.
Exactly.
That's
and they think that their comment is going to change whatever the content is, and that just baffles me.
Yeah.
Like my Hemi swap video, I've got the wiring one. A lot of the comments in there is just me telling people asking for help, and me saying, well, try this, try that. So that video put tons of comments in it.
I get torque questions on things. Well, what's the torque on the valve cover? I think it is for the LS ones we did. Well, what's the torque on that? And I'll go look it up and send it to them.
I did some of I did some LS videos, and I just put all the torque specs in the description.
Yeah,
Just like
that does.
Just put in the description.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like if they're coming and they're going to take the time to ask the question, I'll take the time to go figure out what it is and put it in.
You know, it's
You know what I mean?
as someone that's aware of the descriptions, it's amazing how little I actually read them.
Oh, I don't put much in the description because I don't think.
Yeah, I put it in there, but nobody reads it. And the best one I love is people that ask questions in comments. And there's 10 other people that have already asked that question, been answered.
But I will. YouTube doesn't make it easy to go in and see the questions under questions.
No, they don't.
And then, okay, this one has been answered, but it's been answered by assholes who say, "Oh, you should just know that. Why don't you look it up?" 27. They don't know how many of those they got to look in to go get the right answer. So I'll give them it and send it. But all right, guys, it's been 3 hours. I know Dudes was only supposed to be here for an hour.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you, mongrels. What do you didn't tell us you got stuff coming up? What's coming out? What's the behind the scenes?
Well, the big thing for me is I'm working on the 69 Mustang Mach 1, trying to get ready to go down to No Name Nationals. And then I also have the 99 Trans Am WS6 car that I'll be taking down there as well. That's the plan. I'm trying to get those 2 cars ready, and then I'll have other things here and there scattered.
Oh yeah, you heard it. He's bringing multiple cars.
Yeah.
How do you drive?
Listen, we'll worry about that later.
Well, I'm not the only one coming.
Hey.
You guys have already met the other fella that does road trips.
I mean, I've perplexed myself with how to drive multiple vehicles simultaneously.
Oh, I have done that as well.
You can master this skill.
I'll be very interested in your wares. Dudes, we all know you're just going to put shorts out and not ever long form videos. So I hear you might do a live one day. Is that a thing?
I mean, I was looking at watch hours here just a second ago, and probably.
He
probably might end up doing those.
No, like that last one you did.
I
remember the last live you did, dudes. That was funny.
A lot. I love how it showed up. No one showed up at first. Like it was like, oh, no one's here, and you could see it was this, and then all of a sudden everyone was there, and it was like, oh shit, this is a lot of people. I'm glad we put on slow chat, and it was
plan this.
And they just kept going, and the questions they were asking. Oh man.
Yeah. No,
so I'm currently living right at 5,800 watch hours total for this year, but there's influxes that are going to happen come April when that last live took off, right around the Volvo build, and then come again in July when they actually promoted my content heavily and things took off like crazy. And then after that, the hours are just the same. But it does hurt me in my soul when I look in here and I go 5,700 watch hours, 497,000 watch hours on shorts.
Yeah. Yeah, numbers.
Yeah.
Just give me 10%.
The worst part is, in order to watch this for our channel, you have to go into a certain spot in there to even see where you're actually at, because they don't let you see that or like make it easy for you to track where you are until you're outside.
Well, and the worst part is that's a number based on the fact of what's currently up. I've deleted many hours on top of that. So
yeah, exactly. Because this goes back to where I tell you stop deleting things. So if you're subscribed to dudeswithwrenches.com, watch some of his stuff if he leaves it on, because it's like merch. It'll only be up for a limited time. So you need to watch Wrenches stuff as much as possible before it's gone. And then if you're here, you're watching my stuff, so we know what's up with that.
And